got to Kennedy King. So you remember Corey Brown?
I definitely remember Corey Brown from Morgan Park.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Murder, man. So I got it in with y'all one day before a game. And then y'all literally went out and destroyed some people by about 50 at Kennedy King. And I'll never forget, somebody shot a jumper. It came off long. And Corey will tell this story to this day. He says he went up, and I was in the stands. He went up for the rebound, and before he could jump, he said he felt a foot on his head. And it was you. And you caught it, classic P-Mac, catching it over everybody, putting it back in. He says before he jumped, he felt a foot on his head. And Corey was 6'4", easy.
On his head.
On his head.
Yeah, Corey was 6'4", man. I used to just, I don't know, I had a knack, man. I was always uber athletic. Like I was taught earlier, if somebody shoot, you got to come from the opposite side. I had a guy in my neighborhood named Wayne Irvin, legendary dude to us in our neighborhood. Played at Chicago State, played at Wyoming. Okay. Played against Patrick Ewing. He passed away a couple years ago, but went to CVS. He was a decorated player. A lot of people knew him. And he taught me early, like, you attack offensive rebounds from the opposite side. So if somebody shoot from the left wing, you crash from the right. If somebody shoot from the top of the key, you can crash because it can go either way and you can get it. I was so big and athletic. I used to get a lot of tip dunks. Like, for some reason, people never boxed me out. And once I got a running start, if it came off anywhere over the rim and bounced up, you was dead.
This is Eugene McIntosh, one half of the illest independent sports media outlet in the whole entire land, the Bigs. Check me and my player partner Terrence Tomlin, a.k.a. T-Tom the Great, out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. on What's In It for the Black People Media Network.
Tune into Parenting in a Pandemic, powered by the Chicagoland Mom Squad. Super excited that we've got Lenora Bowler.
Jaquil founded an organization called Project I Am when he was 8 years old, and the organization's goal is to build awareness to homelessness by providing temporary support to those in need, and that's in the form of the blessing bag. And the reason that got going is because when he was around 5 years old, he went to feed the homeless with my aunt, and that was the first time he really had an experience seeing them up close and personal, and he didn't understand, like, why are they out here? Why don't they have a home? So he comes home, of course, and he asked us, how can he buy them all homes? And he, he's 5. He don't understand that concept. He just never let it go. The next few years, he literally would tear up when he would see homeless people. At that point, we were kind of like, okay, we need to try to figure out how to help him, because we were amazed because, like I said, he's an only child. He could be selfish. So when we saw how much he cared about other people, we wanted to figure out how to help him soothe that within him. We had no idea it was going to turn into what it's turned into. We thought this was going to be like a little project and it'll be great for him. It just spiraled out of control. Now here he is 5 years later.
It's only been 5 years?
Yeah.
He's lived a lifetime of just success. Parenting in a Pandemic every Thursday at noon right here on What's In It for the Black People Media.
My name is Cassandra J. Matz, current Village of Olympia Fields trustee and your candidate for Village President of Olympia Fields. I've been a resident of Olympia Fields for 28 years. I believe in building strategic partnerships, establishing governance boundaries, and have and will continue to dedicate my life's work as a respected and credible voice when it comes to decision making. Olympia Fields has always been a community of familiarity and comfort, and I want to make sure the village stays that way. On Tuesday, April 6th, vote Cassandra J. Matz for your Olympia Fields Village President. Paid for by Citizens for Cassandra J. Matz.
Yeah. Been trying to reach you all day. What's the deal? Keep it real, baby. You can't even pick up and call me. Matter of fact, that this one is just for the bitch trying to play me for a fool. Baby, that ain't cool. Now that ain't cool. See, you've been running around like you've been single, looking for a good time so you can mingle. Got me out here looking stupid. You out here with your bow like a cupid, but I guess it's cool. Guess I was just another hit on your hit list, another good time that you wouldn't miss. But I blame myself for all these feelings that I felt. You were nothing but a savage, seeking no ways you could scavenge. This thing I thought was real turned out to be nothing more than a feel. It's petty love, petty love, petty love, petty love. you're trying to reach me. Just the other day you call yourself trying to treat. Now it's getting time, oh baby, can you see? Cause you can't take what I'm doing. Is that cool? Now that ain't cool. But I blame myself for all these feelings that I felt. You were nothing but a savage, seeking on those you could scavenge. This thing I thought was real turned out to be nothing more than a feel. It's petty love, petty love, petty love, petty love. Ooh. Petty love, petty love, petty love. That's what we got. Yeah. Why'd you have to hurt me, boy? I thought you were so deserving, boy. You took my love for granted, boy. I'll just take this as a lesson, boy. Petty love, petty love, petty love. That's what we got. Petty love, petty love, petty love. But I blame myself for all these feelings that I felt. You were nothing but a savage, seeking on those you could scavenge. This thing I thought was real turned out to be nothing more than a feel. Petty love, petty love, petty love. That's what we got. Yeah. Petty love, petty love, petty love. That's what we got.
You are listening to the most dangerous show in the morning. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
For Ruthie Moore, for Todd, Stroger, I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show, asking every single day, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them Maze said, Mayor Lightfoot, man, we ain't accepting that. We ain't accepting that. Let's go. Yeah. Let's get down to business and go ahead and address the facts, man. Lightfoot seems more lesbian than black. Rahm Emanuel's another case, he was just as tired. 50 closed schools left much to be desired. Police had Anjanette naked on that body cam. They suppressed the footage so it couldn't touch a lot of hands. Reminds me of that 16 shots in that cover-up. Both of them similar, so I went and dug it up. George Floyd killed, a lot of riots happened in the town. Southside burned and they wouldn't let them bridges down. Grandmother sick, need a prescription and plus a couple groceries. You gon' have to travel just to get it now. COVID-19 out here shutting all the business down. Not enough SBA loans to even give around. So many failed businesses that you could put them in the pile. If you don't survive the pandemic, it's gonna sit you down. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. Shout out to Willie Wilson, hope one day you get to send it. We need some different players in the game to handle business. Too many shady characters like Madigan and Blago. But when you really break it down, it's typical Chicago. City full of gangsters, it's what the land was built on. Same streets with hood legends, DNA get spilled on. Carjackers out here lurking, trying to get they steal on. Looking for a block to put them Hellcat wheels on. Let us give bogus appraisals a red line. Car crackers out here getting minimal fair time. And I'm concealed carry, I stay with the pipe. But Illinois gun laws giving minimal rights. Stay up on the swivel, make sure I'm moving tight. Check all of my mirrors when I pull up to the light. Pick my homie up from out of town, man, he caught a flight. He was hella nervous, told him, shorty, this a way of life. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks.
Wake up, Chicago! Wake up, world! This is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. Todd, don't tell me St. Ignatius now has a Nike deal.
No, this was the, well, I guess.
That's not a bootleg, is it?
No, I guess.
You didn't knock it off?
No, you're right. This was the anniversary shirt, and I guess they figured they'd have Nike, so it cost so darn much.
No. It's St. Ignatius. It just cost so darn much.
Yeah, and
Period.
Nike gave them the money,
right.
but they still
They still charged y'all. Right, Nike was like, St. Ignatius, why, whatever would we do without, man, this is how you know St. Ignatius balling. They knocked down a whole community to build a rugby field. Not even a football field.
No, they didn't.
They knocked down a whole. They straight gentrified like 6 blocks of Roosevelt.
I was about to say, in there on Roosevelt.
Right.
That used to be the Ville. They tore down some of the Ville over
you
there.
took the village down.
No, there was never anything over there.
Look,
you got to realize that you youngins.
It was nothing over
don't
there.
Don't realize.
Right. That's what the St. Ignatius people said. Those nothing people
ago,
over there.
I was over there. There was nothing there.
4 years, not
40.
Okay.
There was nothing over there.
Okay. I'm just saying, it was black people. How do all these? It was black people.
No, the black
see
people lived across the street. There used to be a projects across the street.
See, exactly.
The Ville.
So,
but that was the city who did that.
Right, but they did it because they knew the St. Ignatius children were going to be there.
You go find Mayor Daley. Well, they didn't do it when I was there.
No, they were building. When you were there, they were all going to De La Salle. Well, no, they weren't all. Like, I think, were they making the transition?
Their children were younger than me.
Okay. Well, there's like Todd. So Todd's old man knew the plug from years ago. I'm telling you, I really did want my kids to go to St. Ignatius. They both was like, "Are you crazy?" Right. But St. Ignatius does look. I'm telling you, going to that school, they got like gold eagles. Like, we were walking through the school for the tour. And as we were walking, we were like, what is this music wafting through the hallways? It was a straight up orchestra. Like, you know, most schools got a band. Right. No, they had an orchestra. Like, Muggs had violins and bass, string bass. Not like a dum 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 dum. Like, right. They had a dum 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 dum.
Claire plays in the orchestra.
That's gonna keep on making you trying to get another reduction in the dowry, man. I told you it's only look, Ty. I think Claire is a catch, so I'm gonna figure this out for her and my son, and we gonna make it all work out. I won't charge you too much.
I told you my dad asked Old Man Daly, where should he send his son? Not me, and he said send him to St. Ignatius. Because that's where he sent his all his children, but
Rich,
right,
and all of them Rich became the mayor.
Yes, and all the rest of them became
rich.
Yes.
All right, man. That's my man Todd Stroger over there rocking the St. Ignatius. Shout out to St. Ignatius. You should be giving us. You should be paying Todd's tuition. This should be going to the scholarship bank. Cause we be giving y'all straight street cred. Cause you know people be thinking like, you know y'all got to get them Daniel Murphys out. Don't be tripping. Do not be tripping. And I'm still trying to figure out how I could get me a Daniel Murphy. Goodness gracious, man. Maybe somebody get me. Man, I need like a Link scholarship or something. You know what? We're gonna have to figure that out. All right, look. Juan, Nito, cousin Juan in the building, rocking the Fashion Geek in the building. You know, I drive past the Fashion Geek store and I be too nervous to stop in.
Why?
Because, you know, I be feeling like people be, like when you go in them stores like that, it's like a culture.
It is.
And I'm old, right?
No, I'm not that far from you.
Yeah, but, you know, I be going there like, how much for a sweatshirt? I said, nah, it's a sweatshirt. Nah, I just want to let y'all know. I actually... You know what? I might take my son to Fashion Geek this weekend because they're in Beverly, right?
Yep, in Beverly.
Right. I drive past.
That's a
brand. It's a store.
It's
a boutique and it's a brand, and it's like, you know how like they build like these vertically integrated, like it's a brand, it's a store, and then they have the online component of it, and then they have these alliances across. I bet if I look at Juan's feet, she probably got on some Pumas.
I was gonna wear my Pumas
with some Dave Jeff, action.
It
You
sure
know, I
was.
be feeling like, you know,
It was.
I'm gonna pull out
I
these.
sure was gonna put on some Pumas that Dave.
I'm gonna have to pull up on Dave Jeff, because you know I be thinking everybody be forgetting about your boy. Like everybody got all these fresh shoes and gear. I be like, man, Charlie. I mean, remember, I got the first Sprite mixtape.
You did.
When I put you, I didn't say I put you on. Dave Jeff was, you know, but I was like, man, I felt like Dave Jeff was like a whole different kind of flavor for what was going on in Chicago.
Yeah.
And then everybody get famous and they forget the little guys.
Dave Jeff is an artist?
No, yeah, man. Dave Jeff he's an artist. He's a lifestyle curator. Right?
Yeah.
He does all of it. And then, you know, man.
He's like a genius. He has a pop-up store on, a pop-up event space on Michigan.
I think what happens is like you know, anybody that goes into the South Loop, they have to take a vow of hate of Maze Jackson. And then they get the plug. Oh, no, it is.
But Dave, I mean, because with me,
I'm not saying Dave is hating. I'm not saying that at all.
Dave is like, he's amazing. And they just remember me because I'm much older than them.
I be like, I got posters. I got CDs.
I'll send a text. I'm like, where mine at?
You know what?
Go on there and be like, where mine at?
I be like, and you know, I feel like sometimes, like some days you just be like, you know what? Because when nobody had a fashion line, I'll be like, hey man, why don't you make the Sprite joints for me? I was thinking about like Crew. I bought I remember the first time I went to Crew. Man, straight up, I remember Fly too. Man, Crew Sports. I remember going into there with a purchase order. They was like, and I had a purchase order for like $15,000 from Coca-Cola. And they was like, if you don't get this thing up out of here and bring us some cash. And it was like, it was during the era like where I was trying to bring the corporate world to hip hop in Chicago. And so like you trying to do work with like Coke and Sprite, and they like, cause we pay on 30 days.
Right.
And it's like, I need the stuff now. And it was like trying to explain to the brothers, I'm like, look, man, you take this purchase order and you're going to get $15,000 order. Right. If you don't take this purchase order, then you're going to get you a $500 order that I could afford out of my pocket.
Right, exactly.
And
exactly.
That was the era that all was in. And so, you know, I be feeling some kind of way sometimes when I be looking at the pictures and I be like, straight up.
Oh, no. I inbox, I'm like, hey, what's up? You forgot oh, man. So, you know. And then they put you on rotation. They got your sizes and stuff and all that kind of stuff.
It's all right. And, you know, I shot with everybody. If somebody send me a thing, I shot with everybody. Yeah. Like, I be like, hey, yo, what you know? Because I be wanting my kids to be fresh. And then it be making me think my kids are fresh. And then when my kids go places, like my daughter and now I got my granddaughter. So you know I'm gonna be trying to make sure she the extra freshest. So I hope they got baby clothes and everything.
And Dave be getting like Dave. I don't even know. I don't think he sells. I don't think he even sell the Puma stuff. I think it's just
influencers.
Yes, influencers.
Activation.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Okay. He sells his Chicago Kids. I got that gear too, so he has that.
Man, just you know.
And then Zoe just did a deal with MCM.
Oh, fresh. See, this is my thing, right?
Yeah.
That's okay though. It's all right. I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna just say that's okay because no, I'm telling you, it's circular economics. That's where we like. If you advertise fashion lifestyle brands, then we drive the people to those locations. The most loyal. Let me just say this: the most loyal people I think that exists right now are the What's in It for the Black People family when it comes to directing and supporting Black businesses. Mm-hmm. And the few businesses that do advertise have all said that they get a tremendous return on investment. And so I just think like, man, it's got to be circular, right? Yeah. It's got to be circular. So anyway, shout out to Fashion Geek. Shout out to my man Dave Jeff, Chicago Kids, the Puma lifestyle joints. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody from the Sprite days who got a check. How about that?
Yeah.
Shout out to Miss Sonia Escobar. How you feeling?
Called PR boxes, guys.
What's PR boxes?
Right. Free stuff that they would send us. That's put us on the PR list.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you.
One day.
I'm going to tell you. It always starts this way. I remember when I first came to Chicago, I was the Vapors. I used to be down. Want to be down with every crew, and they wouldn't give me in, so I made my own. And then I was hiring everybody. Then it was like, oh, let me pay for them flies. Anyway.
Well, you just got to look at it. A lot of us are standing on your shoulder.
Nope. They stomping on my head.
No, they
It's
not.
more like they stomping on my head. I'm telling you, if you go to this, I'm going to let that be. But I am going to tell you that what I have noticed is that.
They may not think because you're in the political space that you will wear their stuff.
Let me tell you what I learned in the world. The richest dude will take free clothes.
That is so
Yeah,
true.
this
is the thing. The most richest people don't buy half their stuff.
I agree with that. I agree with that. But, it's like in the Chicago, it's okay.
I went into Kanye. I was in LA. It was at Kanye's spot, and literally,
which spot? His clothes store, his house.
It was This was when him and Virgil was doing the pastel line, and they had this just a room with just all free stuff. Like when I'm talking about free, I'm talking about Louis Vuitton, everything. It was just free, and it was so much they couldn't even do anything with it. So Don C, they'll just go in there and just give people stuff.
I remember.
That's how much free stuff rich people get.
Yes.
Chris Rock said if we knew all the free stuff that celebrities got, there'd be a riot.
Yeah, real talk.
I think about the when we went to Super Bowl in Detroit, and I think they had to give away everything because the Super Bowl in Detroit. Did I tell you about the time I went to the Super Bowl in Detroit and we pulled up to the place? And they was turning the mattress over because it was blood on the other side. And we was like, yeah, we're not
That's
staying
a true
here.
Detroit
story.
story.
That was before Airbnb.
Right.
So the internet was sort of new.
Right.
So you was taking your chance, like you hooking up. Man, we pulled up. We was like, oh, no, look. It was like we walked into the house. We pulled up to the neighborhood. And we was already like, And we walked in the house and they was literally flipping the mattress over. And it was like, and I'm not talking like somebody fell asleep and had an accident blood. I'm talking about it was
murder
blood.
Oh, wow.
And we was like, I think we got the wrong house. Get in the car.
Yeah,
Get in the car.
yeah,
We're going to be up out of here.
You saw that apartment that they saw in Coming to America, huh?
Yeah, I love it. But I was thinking about so speaking of free stuff, I remember going to that Super Bowl and they had taken over what basically happened.
Who played?
Pittsburgh and somebody.
Dang, that was a long time ago, huh?
Right. Pittsburgh and somebody. But what they did was they converted these abandoned buildings. Like ESPN took over a building.
Yeah.
And then like every floor you went on was something different, was a different experience. Oh. And it was when the promotions game was off the chain. You got like on one floor you could get customized Timberlands. On one, and you go there, you put them on. And I'm talking about, they be like, give me a size.
Right.
They be like, what you want on them? They have artists design them. You come back, you pick them up. They was giving away these free phones that were on. It was the Boost mobile phones before Boost popped, and they was giving them to everybody for free.
I mean, they still do that at Coachella, but they only do it like in their backstage spot. But they do, and Lala, they still do it at Lala.
You know what I think is gonna? Well, first of all, I think one of the things we got to do, and as we expand our lineup. We're going to move into that space. So I want to have on-site entertainment reporters at places doing things, covering these events. I actually, as the city and everything starts to open up, I actually want to broadcast live from the opening of the city. We'll talk about that.
I can help you with that. I'm on the committee.
Man, I want to talk about that. So we should talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's do this though. Let's get the soul plane up to 60,000 feet. And I'm going to bang through these headlines pretty quickly so we can try and get back on schedule. First of all, stop the music. Rest in peace to brother Amadeus Rames.
Yeah.
If you don't know Amadeus, one of the nicest people who invested in the success of our children in the arts.
Yes.
Ever since I knew him. At one point, I used to be like, who is this crazy dude? And then you realize that he's like legitimately all about what he says he was about. Mm-hmm. And for years and years and years, whether it was Coke, whether it was Sprite, whether it was I was doing something political, whenever there was an opportunity to give back to the kids or to the young people, somewhere in the mix was Amadeus. Yeah. He passed yesterday with a heart attack. And so rest in peace. He was a 21st Ward resident, I believe. I know that he did a lot of his work at Foster Park.
Yep.
So rest in peace to Amadeus Rames, one of the people that maybe made Chicago go underground. Not underground, but that people you should know that maybe you didn't know passed away. Not opportunity to give him his flowers while he was here, but I do want to make sure that we acknowledge his passing. In that same grain, multi-millionaire mogul Richard Driehaus died as well. You may know him from
the St. Ignatius.
Whatever. But he also was, if you go downtown, he's got the Driehaus Art Museum. I mean, he was one of the richest people in Chicago. He then moved into affordable housing, architecturally designed, just a lot of stuff. He died as well. So rest in peace to those Chicagoans, as well as the weatherman.
Oh, yeah.
I
forgot his name.
Cameraman.
No, he's weatherman. Cameraman.
Let's not do this.
No,
let's not mess it up. Let's not
up.
mess it up. Let's get it right. We'll continue. We'll come back to that. Did you see City Sets its Sights? Juan, I thought about you when I saw it. They say they're making, cross your fingers, the big events are on the way back. That's going to be interesting to see how this rolls out. I'm going to be asking you to give us updates. I think Tennille had a great idea for your podcast, even though if you don't stay forever. She said that you should keep us updated on the reopening of the city.
Oh,
right, and do something and do an hour.
Yeah,
and even if you don't do it, but letting us know what events, what precautions to take, planning. Like I really appreciate you. You know who you remind me of when you come in here, Carrie, because you got your own kit to do your own process. Like we wipe down, we try to be super sanitary and all that stuff. One come in and be like. I was like, shh, that don't smell like the lemon cinnamon. That does not smell like the citrus fresh virus killer that we use here. And it's because she got her own pack. But I think that, I used to think about how I would pack my car for the summer and keep a cooler in the back, a 6-pack or whatever, and you'd be ready. I think it'd be great as the city reopens, you start thinking about how do we get Black Chicago re-engaged in that process. So and if the mayor is able to get the city going up, they're talking about the auto show July 15th. That's crazy.
It's a lot of things in the works with the city, so I'm really excited about it. And they're doing them with proper precautions.
Okay, so we're going to talk about that. I'm going to save some time for that. And that's kind of on the schedule for you to be able to talk about. Okay. City sets, let me see, reparations hearings today. Shout out to Alderman Stephanie Coleman, who sent me sent me a text last night as I was staggeringly to stay awake in my chair, that the reparations hearings are today in City Council. So we'll talk a little bit about that. I'm still a little bit concerned about why we have to have a Latino on the reparations subcommittee as a co-chair. Sharon Mitchell Jr. Was appointed the Cook County Public Defender. Shout out to a Black man getting an appointment, finally.
Okay.
Right? Because, it'd be like black women, black women, black women, black women. Now, let me also say much love to my candidate that I wanted to see win was a woman. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know. But I wish success upon this brother as he embarks upon this job as the new Cook County Public Defender, who, shout out to Kim Fox, said they are partners in criminal justice reform. So that her partner in social justice. I think that's pretty freaking awesome. And I will give a shout out to the Morgan Park Mustangs. I think that Carissa Parker might be the most Mustang person in the world. And so they was like, not that we can help get people out of jail, not that we can probably help people get a little bit more justice. Most importantly, Sharon Mitchell Jr. went to Morgan Park High School. Oh. So shout out to the Morgan Park Mustangs for putting a mark on the board. Now that just makes me remind you that the high school challenge is returning. The high school challenge is returning. Will Lindblom be able to defend their crown, or will CVS come roaring back? I do think
Why do both have to be on the south side?
Because the West Side high schools had a graduate. They don't really count as
shade.
The West Side high schools don't really count as alumni until you graduate.
Ricky Hendon.
So, Collins. Let me tell you, it was like a total of 2 votes for Collins High School. They was like the graduating class. of the last 6 years from Collins High School, all 2 of them voted. No. But
You know what? You know what?
I was saving that for
But
yesterday.
but look, I do be looking at him like, did you graduate?
So let me say this. The high school challenge is returning. The high school challenge is returning. Bolingbrook, we have to vindicate ourselves. I cannot believe we lost to Thornton.
How can you not believe that?
You know what?
It's only like 10 of y'all.
No, quite frankly, it's plenty more. And even if it was only 10, that would be as many as graduated from Collins in 10 years.
Whatever.
All right. So you do not want to do the high school challenge. So anyway, y'all start getting y'all alumni ready. I feel like them limb boom swoops. I want to know if that was a fluke. Right? Because they went crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And don't forget, we've also got the Black Greek Challenge coming. Right? Don't forget, we've got the Catholic League versus the Public League coming.
Okay.
We got the South versus the West. Look, y'all, I'm telling you, the challenge, I'm going to tell you, the most exciting times we had probably last year before we started our own outlet, and I can't wait to have it because I think what we may do is start putting up the schools in this. We're going to have a lot of school spirit in this. But, I mean, let me just tell you all, in the course of a 2-month period where we ran that whole challenge series, we engaged over 750,000 people.
Oh, that's awesome.
When the Deltas and the Sigma Gamma Rho's went at it, Lord have mercy, Jesus. I mean, that became a national phenomenon because the Sigma Gamma Rho's was like, call in the troops. They made it. It was a local competition. Right. They called in the nationals. The next thing I know, I'm getting calls from Texas, from Deltas like, hey, yo, what's up? The Sigma Gamma Rho's finna beat the Deltas? Oh, we can't have that. And you know, the Sigma Gamma Rho's like, we finna beat the Deltas? And look, the AKAs was too pretty, right? Like, I think they was too cute. They was like, we ain't finna get in your little challenge. And then when it got fresh, then once it caught on, it was like it was too late. So they had to be cool and be like, we ain't want to play no way. Right? And then the Zetas, my sorors, I was like, the sorors let me down. But that was because they had a lot going on because they were missing their centennial. So I'm not going to even trip on them.
They were emotional.
Then the bros, first of all, we mollywopped the alphas. We kicked the alphas all around the whole joint. Kicked the alphas and the kappas and the iotas. I think my cousin was the only iota who voted. Right? And we whooped them. And then it came down to us and the Qs, and then the Qs had an overnight party. And they stayed up all night, and they beat us. And so the bros going to have to come on back. Because I was going to try and fix it.
Shout out to the Qs.
Whatever.
Just saying.
I tried to fix it. But, well, shout out to Brian Jupiter. Chef Brian Jupiter. Shout out to Frontier Restaurant and Ina Mae's Cafe, because he awarded to each of our winners 60 meals a week for seniors, custom made by them. So it was pretty dope to have it dropped off. I like Brian a lot too. I can't say I love Brian because that's kind of, dudes can't say stuff like that. But we getting ready to kick some.
Men can though.
Thank you. That's what people need to hear a man say.
That's right.
I love you, bro.
I say that to my son all the time.
Well,
that's a start.
I'm not.
That's most important.
What's Snoop say? We all love these.
Vince. You tell Vince you love him, right?
You won't be like, I love you. I'll be like,
I love you, bro.
Like in a moment.
I think I've seen them kiss like Magic and Isaiah.
Todd.
Before the finals.
Hey, Todd. Okay. Now, I'm not the one with the shower story. I am not the one with the guy when I opened the shower said, talk to the mic. Okay?
Hey, cousin,
I did not.
Pretty hard. You sure you know that story?
Todd grabbed his soap on the rope and ran back to his room.
You know.
And then he said he was looking out the door and dude was standing in the hall still waiting.
Is that for real?
That's when I weighed 140 pounds.
That's a real story?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's a real story.
I'm sorry you went through that.
Thank you.
Todd he said he was in the dorm all by himself. He went to go take a you know how you have to take your shower
there was
basket.
nobody else in that dorm.
It
felt like nobody else was there.
That's exactly how people feel in the showers at the joint too, right? Like, is there nobody here?
What did you do? Did your eyes just buck? Like, what did you act like you left something in the room?
No, I was in the shower.
You were in there and he came in?
And you know how your curtain never really kind of, and I'm, doing my thing, and then I look out and there's a guy there who I've never seen before. And he's small but muscular. Oh, God. And I immediately felt uncomfortable because he was like looking at me. So I got up and, finished, washed off and went in my room. But he came after and knocked on my door.
And what'd he say?
He said, somebody
naked.
I've got a towel on. And I say no.
You just came in.
And then he says, okay. And I think I got the story right. Then he comes back and he knocks again.
Wait, he come back.
He knocks again.
Double knocker. Oh,
and I open up the door and he says,
"You gonna eat your cornbread?"
Pretty much. That's what he said. But it was more like, you want a BJ? And I said, bam, no.
Peanut butter jelly.
And then there was another knock.
No.
Yeah, a little. Maybe it was 5 minutes later. I don't know.
You're making me hot. I'm hot.
And even though I was sitting in my bed like concerned.
Did you put your clothes on?
No. Now I'm like, I'm going to have to fight. I see I'm going to have to fight. I open the door. It's my buddy Sam, who was much bigger than me. I was like, come on in, Sam.
What if Sam would have said, you want your cornbread?
No, I told Sam the story, and Sam opened the door and looked down the hall. Where is he?
Good looking out, Sam.
Yeah, Sam was, he would look out for me.
Oh, you made me. Oh, that made
On
my
that
morning.
note,
that made
let's
my
just
morning.
take a break. Cause
that made my morning.
I never thought you're going to have to make that a promo. We're going to have to make that a promo. Cause
that story was much too long for a promo.
No. It's like, that reminds me of one of them stories. We're going to put a cartoon to it. Right? And it's going to be Todd's voice. And it's going to be, and you want some?
You want to eat your cornbread?
That's what she said.
All right, y'all. It's the Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
My name is Cassandra J. Matz, current Village of Olympia Fields trustee and your candidate for Village President of Olympia Fields. I've been a resident of Olympia Fields for 28 years. I believe in building strategic partnerships, establishing governance boundaries, and have and will continue to dedicate my life's work as a respected and credible voice when it comes to decision making. Olympia Fields has always been a community of familiarity and comfort, and I want to make sure the village stays that way. On Tuesday, April 6th, vote Cassandra J. Matz for your Olympia Fields Village President. Paid for by Citizens for Cassandra J. Matz.
Back to the Maze Jackson Show.
Baby, let me steal it. I gotta steal it. Don't you wanna steal? I've got to see you somehow. Not tomorrow, but right now. I know it's late. I can't wait. Come on and steal it. Don't wanna keep thinking I might change my mind. Everybody's sleeping. Let's not waste any time. I know it's late. Oh, I can't wait. Come on and steal it. Oh, steal it. I know that it's wrong meeting you this way. There's no other way I can be with you. If only your folks would approve. Things
listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I am your host, Maze Jackson. I'm sitting over here dead with my co-host, Todd Stroger, telling us a story. Juan Teague in the building, Sonia Escobar. And just when you thought it couldn't get any more, Todd, there's more to the story.
Yeah, I forgot what made me really uncomfortable is when I get out the shower and I'm walking by him, he stops and I can't remember how the conversation starts, but in the
end, there was a conversation.
Yes, but in the end, he says he's got this keychain. There's a man and a woman, and if you pull it, there's coitus. So he says, "You want to buy this?" And I say no, and that's when I stop off to my room.
You remember them old school, old nasty people keychains where you go to Las Vegas and then be
right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know.
How did y'all get to the point that you even spoke? Like, I guess my thing is, because this is me. All right, now let me start here. There's this. Remember, I told you we didn't take showers in middle school because Mr. Stroger used to be like, it was like when they first made, it was like mandatory that you take a shower. I'd be like, we didn't even sweat.
Uh-huh.
And Mr. Stroger be like, y'all all get in the shower, and then he would just stand there. And Muggs was like, we ain't no. It was like a straight up whole class revolt. So here's what I feel like. I feel like those type of people take advantage of socially awkward situations.
Right.
So I could see being in the shower and then like a and I don't even know if you get to call them a weirdo now.
Right.
Because I think they have a title for that.
Right.
Right? This is in one of the alphabets.
Right.
So I could see like taking a shower and you could see somebody like kind of look.
Right.
And then you would probably step back.
Right.
But if the mug is still there when you look back again,
right,
then you got a problem. Now, let me ask this, Todd.
Uh-huh.
How did you did he try to come in the shower?
God, no.
So when you came out of the shower, where was he?
He was standing by the sink.
Did you tense
Now, was
up?
he dressed or undressed?
He was dressed. How's he gonna walk around the?
Well, I thought he was in the shower
too. I thought.
I thought he was.
No. He was obviously.
He was fully clothed.
Yeah, he came from off the streets. You know.
Oh.
I'd never seen him before.
Xavier dorms didn't have locks on it.
You know, it was easy to get up in the dorm.
I guess it probably was easy for him to get with a lot of people then.
Oh Lord, Jesus.
He probably knew somebody in there.
Yeah.
And
did you tense up? Did everything tense up?
What?
When you walked?
I mean, how did you run? Did you like, so when you left out, did you like run or did you jog run? Did you like skip to the room? Like, cause and I don't mean like skip to my loop. You know how when you trying to get out of a situation and you trying to sprint, you can't sprint cause if you sprint, you scared they gonna run
or you
and they gonna chase you.
That towel gonna drop and gonna get on the wrong side.
Like you were in
of course, I usually would start to dry myself in the shower. But,
you are funny.
But in this instance, no.
You were wet?
I was like, I'm leaving.
So you were looking sensual to him. You was wet too. You was wet running down the hall with a towel.
Listening.
So I'm literally like.
He thought you was teasing him.
Did you come out?
So there's the shower, and then there is, if I remember correctly, there's the stairway, and then there's my room. So I'm like 10 feet away if I.
But it looked like
if I get out the door,
it looked like 100 feet away.
Did you tell the resident advisor? Did you tell somebody or were you like? Because this is one of those things where you probably nervous.
Once Sam got there, I was pretty confident that we were going to be all right because Sam was like 180 pounds of muscle. So
y'all was gonna go. Did y'all go look for him? Did y'all like go beat him down?
Did you go walking behind Sam, looking around
like that's him?
No, I'm not a fighter. Even though Sam, he liked fighting every once in a while.
We definitely know you're not a fighter.
Clearly. He clearly assumed the same. Okay, so.
But don't get it. Hey, I don't know karate, but I do know crazy.
Oh, that's just hot.
Can I tell y'all? This is why I love Todd Stroger.
Oh.
Because Todd is like the most like unassuming person. Like he does. It's like Todd is just Todd, and he gonna tell you the story. He's like, man, this is what happened. And as long as nothing happened in the story, like as long as this story didn't end like Shawshank, You okay, Todd?
Yeah.
Well, just so you know, you just said you love Todd.
Yeah, I said that. I didn't say it like. I didn't say I love you, Todd. Okay. Oh God, they said
That
Todd.
went right over my head too.
I caught it.
The Todd Stroger. The Todd Stroger Chronicles. Oh Jesus. Hey,
All right, I
So
gotta get a new story though.
We can't.
Gotta think of
That
something. What
story's
happened in my
never.
life?
That story's never leaving.
Never.
I don't think I got anything better
That
Maze
goes-
was just
that-
cracking a joke. I didn't know it was a story behind it.
That goes in the annals.
Yes.
Ooh, annals.
It took me the whole break to
Annals,
cool
not
down.
anals.
Put on boom.
Oh God! All right, so now that we are 47 minutes into the show, and we did get the
What?
we did get through the headlines for
We
the most
did.
part, almost. Did you see? In other news, did you see? Governor Cuomo apparently groped an aide in his
Another
office.
one.
Governor Cuomo is done.
I love Cuomo. Though.
I bet y'all did.
Well,
So
you
did
gotta
he.
remember that's just the allegation at this point.
But
Sometimes.
where did all this just pop up all of a sudden?
No, I mean the groping thing. Sometimes if they interrogate the person, you find out that it might not actually be a grope. It
It
was
might just been a cuff.
might be just like he hugged
Or
them.
he might just grab their back or something like that.
Yeah, it might not.
Yeah,
be as
high
bad.
on the back though. Like some people,
Well, I
when
just
you touch,
learned that's a thing. Because I didn't know when you go low like this to the back that's like sexual.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that. I'm a tomboy. So I was like, oh,
Juan.
what?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you. I would tell you a story, but I'm not gonna tell you the story. But like, Juan be around here acting crazy, and people, she be like, hey, first of all, Juan, I'm not even gonna I'm gonna let this be. I'm gonna just go ahead. I'm just gonna keep on moving. Talking about some touch my back. First of
I
all,
did not know the lower back
did
was
they-
a sexual
did-
thing.
okay,
I
I'm
did
not
not
tripping.
until All-Star Weekend
I just
last year.
I just want to inform you all that at some point you should, for those of you that are looking for what's in it for the black people gear, I am going to send out an alert this weekend for an exclusive group of people to have the opportunity to purchase what's in it for the black people gear from our exclusive location. It won't be so much of a pop-up as like we're going to have like 3-hour window where you can come and get you some gear, and in the snow, get you a hat, get you a pen. Man, I'm telling you, I'm really loving my What's in it for the Black People pins. You can get you a face mask, you can get you a hoodie, and man, you know what? We got 2 kinds of hoodies too. We got the logo hoodie, the logo patch hoodie, and then just the regular hoodie. Just letting you know, fresh gear is coming.
Cool.
And then I'm gonna get me a fashion geek. I think I might take my son and get him a fashion geek this week too. I'm gonna go ahead and be representing.
There you go.
All right, it's the Maze Jackson Show. Real quick, social media question of the day. How do you plan on keeping yourself in the COVID in between time? Yesterday I posted on social media, are people ready to go back? Juan was like, I'm gonna be all in these streets. I'm all in these streets.
All in the streets.
What are you planning on doing to keep safe? I am going to get the shot. I know, and I think so I'm not pressing people, and I'm not going to shame you either way.
Mm-hmm.
But I have decided that I believe that the shot is going to be the passport to access.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to buy into the theory that they're going to mass kill us all, right? I'm not going to buy into that. And I am going to buy into the thought that I want to get the same stuff that the white people getting.
I'm telling you.
And I'm just telling you now, right now is the time to go to the United Center and all that, because all the white people in line. Think about the clubs, y'all. Think about the clubs. When the white people at the clubs, ain't no police coming, ain't nobody getting shut down, ain't no shootings, ain't nothing happening. The line be down the block, around the corner, and everybody's all hunky-dory. When the line turn all black, that's when the police come. That's when the security comes. That's when everything you getting shaken. You can't wear your pants. You got to change. You drop your jewelry. All of that good stuff.
The mayor may come with her hat.
Right.
Her police hat.
Be like, move along.
Move along.
So Remember how she told the little black kids last time?
Yeah.
Right now she compassion. You know,
She was doing the mama thing.
That was not.
I'm just
the
saying.
mama thing.
I think she did it
So
wrong.
I told you somebody was going. I told you she was going to put on Ruthie's cake. I told you she was going. But that's what makes Juan a great advocate, right? Because Juan like everybody. She like you be trying to talk about somebody and Juan be like, but you don't remember the one time that they had did the nice thing? And be like, Juan, we over here trying to be mad. Don't nobody need you coming over here telling us good stuff. We over here talking smack. So when we talking smack, don't nobody need you coming over here trying to be an advocate for everybody, trying to be nice. Look, do say that for your own damn podcast. We over here hating. Now, isn't it so nice that we look? Let me tell you. So while we over here hating, I am looking forward to. It has been a long year.
A long year.
I have lost people.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say COVID has been actually good for my business.
Mm-hmm.
My other businesses. Now, if only we could get you all to tell your friends, to share the broadcast,
Mm-hmm.
right, and to grow the place. But I look forward to coming back because I do think that the return is going to create additional opportunities. But I want to know, how do you plan on keeping yourself safe? Me? Do you say you're going to take the vaccine? I'm going to take the vaccine. I'm also going to keep wearing a mask, right? I'm still going to say socially distant, even though they say it's now 6 feet to 3 feet. I'm going to still say, keep your 6 feet.
Yeah, right.
Homie. I don't know you and your mama.
Right.
Step back. Step back up off me. I'm happy to be outside, and I want us to stay outside. But I am concerned that there is going to be this mad dash, and we don't necessarily have it in control. Some people are going to stay inside still, right? Some people are going to lock themselves in. How far will you go, and how quick? I know I'm telling you that we are trying to do the What's in it for the Black People trip in May. I'm sorry, guys. It's got to be May. The What's in it for the Black People media trip in May. So I'm trying to travel.
Mm-hmm.
I have decided that this summer, the weekends will matter, right? So I'm just letting y'all know.
Come bike riding.
Huh?
Bike riding.
Not only bike riding, I plan to go camping, fishing, taking drives, going to Michigan, going to Indiana, going to Wisconsin. Like, really making sure. I was just realizing, like we had a year almost stolen.
Mm-hmm.
And like my son is gonna be a junior in high school, which means that next summer he ain't gonna be thinking about me at all.
At all.
He gonna be like, I'm on my way to college, Joe.
Right.
I'm trying to see my friends. I'm trying to see, and so I think that I want to make sure that I make this year count, but I want to do it safely.
Yeah.
And so I do want to bike ride. Actually, I've been toying with the whole concept of bike riding. I think my challenge with bike riding is I hate the people who ride bikes in the street.
Oh, I don't do that. I'm nervous about that too.
I'm not nervous about it. I feel like they're gonna get me killed. They're gonna make me kill somebody one day. I remember one time we went out to dinner with Isaiah Thomas, the basketball player. See how I just name dropped him? And we opened the door, and you know how you always worry about we literally opened the door. And the person flipped over, but he was so excited about Isaiah Thomas that he hopped on the bike and with his broken leg and rode away. He was bleeding and everything.
That's all right. Yeah, I'm scared of street bike riding. I prefer riding on the lake.
Well, I'm gonna tell y'all what.
I used to do that when I was in college.
Yeah,
that was my mode of transportation.
Yeah, I think COVID just made me appreciate life, appreciate family more and friends, and then it made me actually appreciate Chicago because I didn't realize how beautiful it was because I was so busy. But it made me stop and riding my bike. I was able to see things that I've never seen. And I was walking too, so I was walking through the neighborhoods, and I'm like, oh wow, that's there. I didn't know.
I'm gonna tell you what COVID did for me was it let me see the bottom of my closet. Because I was like, I didn't know that was there.
Yeah.
I forgot what happened to them clothes. Yeah. So I think that, and I got so many clothes I'm ready to wear. I think I'm going to be trying to be fresh all the time in the summertime. No, I'm saying I think I'm going to live it to the limit.
You should.
And I just feel like coming back from this, I ain't really got time for no shorts.
Right.
It's I'm all about What Deion Cole say you got? How many summers?
You
I
got
got
25
more summers. 25 more good summers.
Yeah, 25 more good summers.
It's I'm straight stress, drama free. That's what I'm on. I look forward to being at events, spending a lot of time with my wife, my son, my granddaughter and daughter, right? I'm trying to take them somewhere so we can all go sit and just really enjoy. And like, hopefully y'all, we make the most of it. I'm also looking forward to these events coming back because I want to go live from them. Like, I want to broadcast live from a lot of events.
I don't think people realize how big of a contribution live events, like live music, actually was in our DNA.
Man,
it was gone.
Man, I'm hoping. Anyway,
and I personally didn't do any. I only did one virtual, but it was a live virtual event. I personally stayed away from that because what I didn't want to do is make brands comfortable with doing things digitally. And because I so appreciate live. So everyone that came to me to want me to do virtual, I declined.
I appreciate that. I like the virtual because I think that when we were locked in our houses, that it was something to do. But
the artists were doing it. You didn't have to create an event to do it. The artist was doing it because they didn't have nothing to do.
Well, you right. I'm gonna tell you I would. I'm gonna just tell you, artists, if you'd like to extend your reach. Right, so if you do a venue and you got 100 people and you'd like to add another 50, just think about the What's in It for the Black People Media Network. Because if we broadcast you live, for the people who can't make your show, we can help you offer a link that we can also help you monetize.
I was talking to a brand yesterday about advertising on your show.
Oh, well, I appreciate you, Juanito, because that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Like, we got to make this thing go. I'm just telling you, title. It's the Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back. Peace.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
Sissy's Taco Bar Pop-Up is back with more hours and more days. Check them out at their new pop-up location at The Woodlawn, located 1200 East 79th Street. Sissy's Taco Bar offers authentic street tacos infused with international soul. Now every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at The Woodlawn from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. New vegan tacos have been added to the menu too. Visit sissytacobar.com for more info.
You got to Kennedy King, so you remember Corey Brown?
I definitely remember Corey Brown from Morgan Punch.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Murder, man. I got it in with y'all one day before a game, and then y'all literally went out and destroyed some people by about 50 at Kennedy King, and I'll never forget, somebody shot a jumper. It came off long, and Corey will tell this story to this day. He says he went up, and I was in the stands. He went up for the rebound, and before he could jump, he said he felt a foot on his head. And it was you, and you caught it. Classic P-Mac, catching it over everybody, putting it back in. He says before he jumped, he felt a foot on his head. And Corey was 6'4", easy. On his head.
Yeah, Corey was 6'4", man. I used to I had a knack, man. I was always uber athletic. Like, I was taught early, if somebody shoot, you got to come from the opposite side. I had a guy in my neighborhood named Wayne Irvin, legendary dude to us in our neighborhood. Played at Chicago State, played at Wyoming.
Okay.
Played against Patrick Ewing. He passed away a couple years ago, but went to CVS. He was a decorated player. A lot of people knew him. And he taught me early, like, you attack offensive rebounds from the opposite side. So if somebody shoot from the left wing, you crash from the right. If somebody shoot from the top of the key, you can crash because it can go either way and you can get it. I was so big and athletic. I used to get a lot of tip dunks. Like, for some reason, people never boxed me out. And once I got a running start, if it came off anywhere over the rim and bounced up, you was dead.
This is Eugene McIntosh, one half of the illest independent sports media outlet in the whole entire land, the Bigs. Check me and my player partner Terrence Tomlin, a.k.a. T-Tom the Great, out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. on What's in It for the Black People Media Network.
Tune into Parenting in a Pandemic, powered by the Chicagoland Mom Squad. Super excited that we've got Lenora Bowler.
Jaquil founded an organization called Project I Am when he was 8 years old, and the organization's goal is to build awareness to homelessness by providing temporary support to those in need, and that's in the form of the blessing bag. And the reason that got going is because when he was around 5 years old, he went to feed the homeless with my aunt, and that was the first time he really had an experience seeing them up close and personal. And he didn't understand, like, why are they out here? Why don't they have a home? So he comes home, of course, and he asked us, how can he buy them all homes? And he, you know, he's 5. He don't understand that concept. He just never let it go. The next few years, he literally would tear up when he would see homeless people. At that point, we were kind of like, okay, we need to try to figure out how to help him, because we were amazed because, like I said, he's an only child. He could be selfish. So when we saw how much he cared about other people, we wanted to figure out how to help him soothe that within him. We had no idea it was going to turn into what it's turned into. We thought this was going to be like a little project and it'll be great for him. It just spiraled out of control. Now here he is 5 years later.
It's only been 5 years?
Yeah.
He's lived a lifetime of just success. Parenting in a Pandemic every Thursday at noon right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
Peace, everybody out there. What's going on? This is Eugene McIntosh, one half of the illest independent sports media outlet in the whole entire land, the Bigs. Check me and my player partner, Terrence Tomlin, a.k.a. T-Tom the Great, out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. on What's in It for the Black People Media Network.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the green side of things. It's your man, Sadiq.
And Cassiopeia.
And we need you to like,
comment,
and share
that thing
every Tuesday and Thursday from 1
to 3 p.m. on
What's in It for the Black People Media.
You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard.
We have a very, very special guest, man, joining us on today's show. Walter Beach, he's my godfather and one of 2 of the dopest black men I've met in my entire life.
This is how I always introduce myself. I'm black in attitude, I'm black in behavior, I'm black in belief and thought, and I'm African in spirit. I accept and acknowledge the fact of my African self being intuitively and have developed the cognitive strength to function as a black man in America. As an African black man, my hypocrisy manifests as silent rage. I must decide what my relationship to racism will be. Only I can say when and where I enter my manhood with quiet, undisputed dignity, without violence or special patronage, asking no quarters, and giving no quarters. When and where I enter, I take with me my people. That's what the sovereignty that Toussaint was talking about means to me. I'm a sovereign human being. And like he was talking about in that point that we made in Amistad when we was talking about all of our species demands to be free. They may not have the power to prevent it, but they just demands it. And that's what they do. That's what the struggle is about.
You are listening to the most dangerous show in the morning. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
For the black people, cause economically we are not equal. Waking up to lies, can't doze no more. I told y'all, yeah, this is a dangerous show. Don't go to church if you ain't trying to help us. Don't even try to be around and can't protect us. We see the lies, not other politicians. We need money and no symbolism. It's Maze, it's Sonia, and Ruthie, and Todd, explaining how we all come from God, giving us tools to beat the odds. If we're united, our movement gon' stop. If they ain't tryna help us, they ain't tryna do nothing. We gotta do something, we gotta stop running. It's time to confront the problem. Really, you expect your oppressed to solve them. What's in it for the black people? All the lies we heard before. Time to pay attention, you gotta do more than listen.
Wake up, Chicago! Wake up, world. This is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. Sonia Escobar in the building, and Cousin Juan.
What up?
Geeked out in the joint.
Yeah.
Geeked out in the joint. You know what I'm saying? You know, like back in the day, they'd put a bzzz over your joint.
I know.
Like they don't advertise like MTV. They'd be like, bzzz, and you'd be like, remember, I can't see what that says, but it's all good. Shout out to all of the black fashion. You know, Chicago has a really robust industry.
Yeah.
Shout out to Fashion Geek. Shout out to Leaders.
Joe Fresh.
Shout out to Joe Fresh. Shout out to Afrowear.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Shout out to Brian. You know, I'm.
It's a lot of them.
Yep. Shout out to my man Corey Gilkey.
That's the man.
Doing things.
Yes.
Corey Gilkey be calling me up talking fast. Be like, man, I gotta do. And Mace, why do they want to stop me from building the world? I just want to help black people. It's my mission. Like, slow down, cuz. Slow down. Nah, but shout out to Corey Gilkey. Shout out to again Alderman Stephanie Coleman as well.
Love me some Stephanie.
I'm looking forward to, Stephanie is a fashion plate.
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie done took Dorothy Tillman to the next level.
Yeah.
Stephanie, when the camera come on, Stephanie be like, Stephanie is a walking Beyonce video in city council. She always got the fashion. She always got the hair. She got the glasses. I was like, is she wearing sunglasses in city council? Go ahead, Stephanie Coleman.
Yes.
And she is also the vice president of the Chicago Aldermanic Black Caucus. Been spearheading a lot of these, the Protect the Pump. What's the program at the pump?
The who?
Remember, she teamed up with Cates and Early Walker to provide security.
Oh, for the
Operation Safe Pump.
The gas stations. When you like Operation
Not pumps, not them little stubby pumps
right.
that I was talking about the other day. I can't stand when women wear them stubby pumps, like when they got like a church dress. They got a church dress and stubby pumps.
They call it little kitty heels.
Stumpies.
You call them stumpies.
Ugh, Ren and Stimpy stumps.
Ren and Stimpy.
Look. Anyway, nothing to say. And then the shoes, I ain't gonna even talk about the ankles. I'm gonna stop.
Well, it's just what you always know is that when women feet hurt, they like lean to one side. And
then they should be leaning up on the other side.
Yeah.
And then I hate the ones that got the little black thing at the heel that's on the angle because they done leaned it off.
Oh, I know.
Or when it's scuffed up and it be like, you need to just
I have to always
that.
get my shoes done because I be heavy on my feet. I'm heavy. I got heavy feet. I got heavy feet.
Just don't wear the stumpy heels. I don't wear
the stump. I'll wear a nice pair of heels, but I have my gym shoe back.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna talk about you. All right. But speaking, so we started this because we was talking about fashion.
Yes.
Stephanie Coleman. Fashionable, but also part of what I would consider those that are going to be the next generation of leaders. She done stacked up her office with some young whippersnappers. She actually took over the seat that her mother once occupied. She is the daughter of Inglewood, preacher's kid as well. Mm-hmm. But she is now also the chair of the Reparations Committee, subcommittee, co-chair, where she is co-chairing with Alderman Andre Vasquez, the rapping alderman, the gangster rapping alderman, as they called him when he was running.
Okay.
So the question becomes, what can we reasonably expect from a reparations ordinance locally? So I want to make sure that you all know that I started out as a antagonist, not anti, but an antagonist of the reparations movement. I will tell you that I have evolved over the last 4 years of being on air. Shout out to Salim. Shout out to Brother Cam Howard. Shout out to Vitris Boyce. Shout out to Ados. Shout out to all of the people that have informed this discussion and moved me from a place where I think my mind was very, I don't want to say American-centric, but very from the process of the white thought of, how they going to do that?
Right.
And we're going to talk about this a little later. But then when I saw that, remember, black people have had unemployment levels as high as 24 to 40%.
Wow.
And there's been no relief for us.
Mm-hmm.
White people got 10% unemployment, and they started printing money.
Printing.
They just passed 2 multi-billion-dollar stimulus bills, and then for the first time that I can remember, a $2 trillion stimulus package, which says to me that there can be reparations paid. Now, I will debate. I think that there are debates to be had, and I know that this is a significant fight. Let me not say fight, because I want to stop putting those type of adjectives into the world as it relates to black intra-black debates. So I'm gonna stop calling them fights. We're gonna call them intra-black debates. And there's a debate over whether local reparations can be meaningful. Now, I saw in Evanston, are they giving away $25,000?
They're trying to figure out how to give $25,000. But some of it was for for housing or something. But it was like if the people didn't have housing, so they were still trying to figure
housing
out.
credit.
Yeah, like something like that.
So it seems like it's a derivative, a reparations derivative, and a variety of I think reparations has not been defined universally so that we can get people on one accord. I know that What's in It for the Black People was working with Black Women Organizing for Power to put together a reparations movement, like reparations or bust, for Joe Biden in the first 100 days, realizing that he probably wasn't going to do it in the first 100 days, but making it a goal. Then I was talking to Tucson, and we were talking about how do we make this, Tucson and Ahmed Islam actually, about how do we make reparations a universal call for black people so that even the brothers on the block is like, oh man, I'm supposed to get a check, right? Like how people talking about this stimulus.
Right.
That brothers, how we boil it down to a message that even brothers on the block would understand. And so I want to talk about the city council reparations ordinance. What can we reasonably expect as success, right? Because one of my biggest concerns, and I can't, Salim, if you are tuned in and we can get Cam Howard, I'd love to talk to him about this. I'm concerned about what our expectations reasonably should be from a local reparations ordinance.
I understand that, but then my other one is getting reparation. If it's just cash, then some people just taking that and spending that at Louis Vuitton, and so my thing is that's where I'll be challenged. Like to help the reparations should be able to help put us forward, not put some design stuff on our backs.
So I think that there's gonna always be those people, but I see you, Todd, leaning in. So what you got?
Oh no, but that's the mindset. That's a totally different thing, but that we have now.
Right.
I don't know how you're gonna to change that if we ever do get reparations.
Well, so let's back up.
Even though I take that back, if we don't change that, we in trouble.
Right.
So let's back up because there's a couple things I want to touch on. Like, what is the universal concept of reparations? I am concerned that passing small local reparations ordinances gives people the opportunity to dodge. But I'm going to leave that debate to Cam Howard and Ados and the people who have made it their life's business. But what can we reasonably expect as success from a reparations ordinance? And then here's another part of this thing that I want to bring to the table, because I do feel some kind of way about the fact that Andre Vasquez is the co-chair of the Reparations Committee. Okay? Now, that's not a slight on Andre Vasquez, and I think that for the Latinos, there is some level of credibility in taking a space like that, because I really don't want to give any Latino or anybody outside of black people any part of the credit for moving reparations forward. Right? So I thought that this was a symbolic appointment to make him the co-chair, and the thing that was told to us was that There's not enough black people in city council to pass it alone. And then, I'm gonna be honest with you, I bought into that, right? I bought into that whole, this is controversial and we need to do. And then I watched that that debate where they removed citizen and they they made us truly a sanctuary city. And there were no black people on the subcommittee. There were no black people who got credit for that, right? It was, we just have to be with you on this. We didn't have to give up anything, right? To me, if you're going to make a co-chair to the Reparations Committee, it should be 2 black people, and every Latino that Vasquez should be like, man, like gracefully bow out and say, this is almost disrespectful to the ancestors. I don't need, you got my support. And I'll go get my colleagues' support because this is the right thing to do.
Right.
But I don't know if I feel like we should be having to feel like to do the right thing for black people, we got to kowtow to somebody else. We got to get Latinos a piece of reparations of the co-chair of the committee to be, Progressive Caucus.
My dad, man, always when I'm trying to interrupt Maze, I always get something stuck in my throat.
As long as it wasn't the guy in the shower.
So my dad and I had a political conversation once. I remember this well because.
Were you listening or talking? Because, I heard you used to talk smack to your old man.
No, I always listened to him. I would argue with him, but, I always end up doing what he said.
You got hard after that bathroom.
Yeah, right.
I'll stand up to you now, Dad.
Stand up to you, Dad.
But he was saying, and I don't know how this conversation started, but he was saying that he was able to do things, I guess, through the party. I guess he was talking about the Democratic committee because he had some allies with Daley and Hines, and they would work together to get things done. They had a lot of votes among them. And that made me think about, it's hard to do things by yourself. And if my dad could get enough black people to go along, Daley and Hines get enough Irish people to go along, you can get something done. So I think this makes sense. They're right. If you put 20 and how many of them, like 8 now or something, together, is there only 8? How many Hispanics are there?
Oh no, it's like 12 Hispanics.
Ooh, yeah, you put the blacks,
but they're not. That's
and
the
Browns
group
together. That's you're right, because they tend not to like each other.
But here's what I'm saying, Todd. I get the strategy. The difference though is they don't have to chair the committee to do that, right? So I'm suggesting that in politics, and I'm just gonna give you optics, right? Optically, what I would love to see is the Black Caucus hike up their pants and say, we're going to pass a reparations ordinance out of committee. And I'd like to see the Latino caucus say, you know what? None of you opposed us on the welcoming ordinance. None of you stood against us. None of y'all were on our planning committee. None of y'all got to come to our meetings to discuss it. But when it was time to vote, you knew to do the right thing. Same thing.
No, I've been in enough bodies to know you don't wait for, is it altruism?
Altruism.
People just do things out of the kind. Nope, that don't work.
So my point is, we voted with you on your sanctuary, and we voted with you to have this new Office of New Americans.
No, you got to start that conversation before that vote happens.
But that was all. That's my point. This is my point when I'm talking about politics and being political and thinking about it. All of this was happening concurrently. We knew that we had a reparations ordinance, and we knew that Andre Vasquez was there. So who says, for the sake of our young black children to see us deliver ourselves on the reparations ordinance, we went out and talked to our Latino allies and said, we're going to be with you on this ordinance over here, and we're going to put 20 votes on your welcoming city ordinance. And I'm not debating you on the timing. But all of this was happening, and nobody thinks about it because we think we got to have an ally and we got to give up something to get somebody on our team. The Latinos, with 6 Democratic socialists, took the lead and said, we finna pass this welcoming city ordinance. No, Mayor, you're not going to leverage us with it. You're going to do it. And now you telling me that when we say we want to have a reparations ordinance, that ain't gonna give us no $100 million. It's probably gonna be some symbolic re-give. We can't even do that by ourselves. We gotta say, again, Andre and the Latinos, if you with us,
You with us.
you with us. Nobody had to give. Was there anybody black on the Office of New Americans committee?
Mm-hmm.
Was it?
I didn't even know they had one.
Right, exactly. So that's my point, though. Like, don't make it a fake alliance. Now, if you say, now for us to be with you, you gotta, on the next committee, you gotta give us the vice chair and we'll give you the chair. That's fine. But on reparations, sit your ass down. That goes back into this, because then what happens is it gets diluted. Then some kind of way they tag on transgender rights. Some kind of way. That's his big thing right now. Transgender rights, right? And so you see, now they're going to talk to Black Trans Lives Matter. The next thing you know, that's going to be woven into it. And I'm just telling you, we don't need to have somebody there to dilute. Respect to Alderman Vasquez. Straight up. Respect. Alderman Vasquez, are you pledging to help get the reparations ordinance passed? Yes? Mm-hmm. Because it's the right thing? Yes. Do you need to be the co-chair to do that? Do you understand what it means to our young black children? Do you understand what it means to us as a people to be able to pass our own without having to be like, we had to rely on the minority to help us? Mm-hmm. Now, and we had to rely on them because we have an alliance, but they don't have to give up power when they want theirs.
Right.
We just say that's the right thing. That's our black and brown coalition. So I say,
well, that's the black people's fault, not their fault.
That's my point. I'm not mad at respect to Andre Vasquez. Respect to everybody involved in the process. I'm sitting in the helicopter. I'm watching. And I'm looking from above, and I'm saying, when this plays out, you're going to give a Latino a leverage point on our own joint that he can come back and use as a chit for our reparations.
There's a saying, the ties that bind. So this is something that binds the black and brown together.
It's always on our dime. It's on, they didn't wait one word. And we're not
All
bound.
I care about is, am I eating too?
We got to stop being bound. Because I'm going to tell you right, we got to stop being bound, and we got to start dating, man. We got to start sleeping around. Because it's like we faithful to.
Well, that's a date.
Todd, don't
around.
you
Are two
I'm
different
like, you
things,
just,
my
I'm
brother.
like sitting up here like, we.
Well, my point is, right, it's like we're like the loyal wife at home while dude is out sleeping with everybody. And it's like we need to date. Like the white Irish right now, they got a problem. They
do.
Who is the warlord that walks up to them and says, "Hey, y'all know y'all got a problem?" Because it's 20-something black folks that's suggesting that the 14th ward and the 13th ward and the whatever ward get broke up in this remap because we want the South Side back and we gonna split it up with the Latinos. There's your negotiation.
Oh wow.
I agree with you.
So all I'm saying is, let's not propagate that reparations is the tie that binds. Mm-hmm. The tie that binds is, man, our numbers. It's in your self-interest to be aligned with us because if you play us on this, you got 6 votes.
Right.
You got 6, we got 20. Now, play us on this and see what happens. And I'm tired of being in a conciliatory place where our answer is always we start from a position of weakness. We need everybody. All right, we're going to be on this island for a minute because we own our wards and communities are on the island anyway. Mm-hmm. So my point is, hey, famo, why we always got to have an M&M? Mm-hmm. Why? I appreciate you and with your understanding of the hip hop community and your connections to black folks, and even why you're being participatory in the reparations movement. You can be an ally without being a leader.
Right.
You don't have to be my kids don't have to see that us getting across the line takes us to have a Latino with 6 votes to get us across the line. Mm-hmm. It presents to me that we have no force outside of giving up. Cause y'all ain't with us on this. There's gonna be another something.
Mm-hmm.
We got 20, you got 6. Until people start counting, stop being emotional, count. Recognize the value. In the value proposition, having 20 votes and having you as an ally so that when you want to do your Black Trans Matter thing, you got 20 people that help you. There's your leverage. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to buy into the premise that for Black people to be successful in city council, we have to give up power. We can do our own initiatives, and who's the lobbyist? Who's the person that's building a relationship? Who's maintaining the chits between we backed y'all on these 10 issues? I got 60 votes up on you because you can't pass nothing without us. We can pass something without you. You can't pass nothing without us.
No, the whole thing is when you talk, you don't talk in generalizations. You talk in specifics. You have something. I don't know if this is the problem.
Welcoming ordinance, reparations. There's two things that parallel.
Then that's what you use. Because nobody says that once you're married, you stay married forever. That's just the way life is.
But you just said the ties that bind. I don't want the tie that binds us to Latinos to be reparations. We got slavery. We ain't got to owe nobody for reparations. Like, if you telling me that we got to owe the Latinos for reparations at whatever level.
Oh, sorry.
Right? When we're passing undocumented immigrant laws I just told you yesterday there's 10 places where undocumented immigrants can vote. They getting rights. They're moving the ball, utilizing under the shadow of us. They're moving the ball forward. When you talk about access to voter rights, everybody Black for the most part got an ID. I'm not.
So who made the committee?
The mayor.
Okay.
The mayor. Alderman Sawyer chairs.
Do you think she spoke to people before doing that, or do you think she just came up with that?
I'm sure she spoke to the chairman.
Right. I mean, I think that.
So even though she did it, I think.
Here's what I'm saying. Black people have to stop looking in the mirror and seeing a cat. Mm-hmm. They have to look in the mirror and see a lion. Alderman Sawyer is the chairman of the health committee where the ordinance is going.
Okay.
Right? Alderman Sawyer is the former chairman of the Black Caucus. Alderman Sawyer has some positive relationship with the mayor. Mm-hmm. Alderman Sawyer should be able to marshal the votes on his committee because he's the chair of that committee, and really it's not like the committee votes against the chair. Very rarely does that happen.
Right.
So he marshals the team together, but we want to always tie us to, and I don't even want to disparage him either, so I'm not tripping on that. What I am suggesting is that somewhere in our psyche, that even when we're most justified, I mean, I would love to see if we did not.
Well, that's why we need reparation, because our brains from our ancestors, we've been trained to look at the others and not ourselves.
Can you imagine, though?
No. This is more about, it's hard to do things by yourselves. It really is.
Right.
It's just not enough of us. I mean, if there was.
There was no Black co-chair.
50 aldermen, they just do whatever they want.
There was no Black co-chair for the Committee for New Americans. The Black people voted.
That's the Black people's fault. They should have said, "Hey, man, we need to be a co-chair on this."
No, we don't. We just need to. Why would you be a co-chair on that so all the Black people could be like straight up?
Because you don't understand it.
But hold on. So you gonna lead you gonna be the co-chair so that the Black people could be like, wait a minute. You led the charge to open up an office of New Americans, and we ain't got no. No, you say
they voted for it. Might as well have a voice in it.
All I'm saying, you can have a voice from the floor
because they did vote for it, right?
You have, but you have a voice in the committee. You have voices all over, and I just think let's be clear. You can have There's no need to have a co-chair for a subcommittee. It's just not. Stephanie Coleman, the Black Caucus, and the mayor should put enough chutzpah behind it,
right?
That should be enough that we ain't. And again,
I agree.
It's all good.
Right.
There's no need to be a co-chair of a subcommittee. That is just not making tough decisions or somebody sticking their nose in our business so that they can go back to the hip hop show and say, I passed reparations. So that when you go into the hip hop community, you can say, yo, I did more for the black community than you. Yeah. No, I'm not giving nobody that. We don't need an Eminem. And it's no diss to Alderman Viegas. It's no diss to anybody involved in the process. I pray that you get it done. But if you're telling me that we can get people to vote for Ida B. Wells and it's George Floyd and all of this other stuff, and when it comes to reparations, we can't get the Latinos to be on our team for it, let that be clear.
Right.
So that we know going forward.
Right.
But I just feel like there's a piece of this where it's like we can't never write our own history for ourselves.
Right.
And it is no shame to anybody involved. But it is going to pain the hell out of me to be like Alderman Stephanie Coleman, Alderman blah, 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 and Alderman Viegas.
Right.
Huh? So the Declaration of Black Independence of Illinois got a Latino signature on it?
That's true.
It's the Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
Parenting in a Pandemic, powered by the Chicagoland Mom Squad, hosted by me, Tennille Jackson. Today's guest will be Beulah McLeod. It's not 2021 that this is getting fixed. Focus on your child and let's figure out what's going to work individually for you, but respect that people are making for them and don't shame them for them.
Everybody makes different choices for different reasons, and you don't know what somebody's situation is. And equity is not giving everybody the same thing. Equity is giving everybody what he or she needs to be successful. If you want to do remote should be high quality. If you want to come back, it should be high quality. It's not necessarily about the mode of delivery. It's about what is the quality level of any of those particular modes. We have to have empathy. Right now, I can see the teachers' argument. A lot of them are scared. I get that, right? I get the parents' argument. Everybody experiences that level of, I don't know how to help my baby with this thing. So parents are frustrated. We gotta just try to see each other's perspective, and I don't think we do enough of that. I think we get locked into our own viewpoint. This is what I think, and that's just it, and that's why we can never get to a solution. We need options, because everything is not gonna be good for everybody.
This is Tori Muhammad, and we want you to tune in to the Tori Muhammad Show that airs here on What's In It for the Black People Media every Monday and Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. We talk and celebrate black-owned businesses, black entrepreneurs, and we talk to some of the best people in the food industry here in Chicago, black chefs, black restaurateurs. So make sure that you tune in to us every Monday and Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Yeah, man. Ideas, man.
You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind you. It's so clear to see that you wanna be free. You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind you. It's so clear to see that you wanna be free.
Let's go.
Standing my ground, I can't mess around now. It's like my time is in a bottle, captured by your love, yeah. Now I know women's got this thing going on. We can't stay around so long, but I wanna come correct. Baby, get your foot off my neck. You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind you. Understand clearly, that you wanna be free. It's the time that you spend making me think within. It's the truth. trust still beginning to fade away. From beginning of the day, I can see you trembling times, and I can see you wondering mind. Is it me considered? The shoot is with it. See, you don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind thee. And it's so clear to see, baby, that you wanna be free. You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind thee. It's so clear to see that you wanna be free, yeah. I'm just trying to be the best I can. You can call me the troubling man. Matter of fact, I'm from the side of the street. Baby girl, you're calling on me. At the time that I feel the presence around me, something that I can't let go. It's your time, everything around me there. I just wanna hold on, but you don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind me. It's so clear to see that you wanna be free. I just wanna come correct best I can. Baby, get your foot on my neck.
You are tuned in to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd, Stroger, Sonia, Escobar. Cousin Juan is in the building. Cousin Juan asked me, who is that? I think that's Maurice, Mahan, and Slick. You don't have to find me.
Oh, I love them.
Yep. I think Don is in the video.
Yeah, make sure y'all downloading these artists' music. Support the
artists. We around here trying to be. You always trying to support some damn body. We haters over here. This is the Mad Rapper Show.
Yeah, they ain't been working.
This is the Mad Rapper Show.
They ain't been working.
You know what, son? You know what, son? I got joints. I got hits.
That was a jam.
That was a jam.
I gotta find that.
You don't have to find me. Call me.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, can I go back? Shout out to the Chicago Aldermanic Black Caucus. Shout out to Alderman Rod Sawyer. Shout out to Alderman Stephanie Coleman.
Love them.
Thank you for doing what strategically you need to do to get the ordinance moving along and passed.
Mm-hmm.
I do shout out to Andre Vasquez for putting this on your shoulders and deciding to be involved in the fight. I would just like to say to our allies in the world that you can be an ally and convince your people from the back. Not like Todd's back in the shower.
Why did I know that was coming?
I think we're going to segue into that every rip.
Yep, for this day, I guess.
No, I'm going to stop. I don't have any malice towards Alderman Vasquez.
I don't think, the way you present it, I think people get it, is that you're not like digging on it. You're just asking the question, why can't we do something on our own? And why can't others support it?
Right. Like, and I'm with Todd from the 48 Laws of Power. You do not appeal to people's sense of altruism.
Right.
But I am not exactly sure what any Latino legislator gets power-wise, except leveraging our community.
Right. And wouldn't, like, say, for instance, if they didn't support it, wouldn't it be publicly known that they didn't support it, and that would look bad for them?
Right.
Would it look bad for them?
Depends. But again, it would for us, because they still got to look at the 20.
Right.
See, like, I think we got to look in the mirror and be like lion, not kitty cat. They got to think like everything that you do to us has a consequence, good or bad.
Right.
So, my friend, right, like, there has to be, like, the guy that says, now, you really should think about this.
Mm-hmm.
Because, again, somebody that always reminds, that keeps the count.
Right.
Right? That, and if, like, to me with the Black Caucus, I don't put all my votes on.
Right.
I put some votes on. I got 3 people that's with you, and we still got to convince these other 20 that we need a sanctuary ordinance.
Right.
So you got your key people. So you let your progressive chair, your such and such chair, and you let them people, but then the rest of the block is like, no, we not with it.
Right.
So all those people maintain, and I think that there has to be the new formation of a new political organization that is all-encompassing, that starts to create fear and following. Like, I don't think that the convening location for black power in politics is anymore in the Democratic Party of Cook County. That is not where the convening of black power in politics will come from. Because that is going to always look to water down or coalition build instead of give me mine and let me be a benevolent. Don't parcel mine out as part of benevolence and you win. So, shout out to Andre Vasquez. I completely get it, but I just think that one of the things that, again, you give people leverage in our community when you do things like that.
Right.
And so you're going to find yourself having a challenge because he then has the ability to prioritize, again, black trans situations and jam us up. I don't want to have the black agenda. I just don't think anybody else should be getting a vote in the black agenda, not on the leadership team. You can be a supporter, you can be an ally, you can trade, but it's like, man, that's y'all issue, let y'all have it. You see any black people in the Office of New Americans? You think a black person is co-chairing the Office of New Americans?
No, probably not.
Hell no. And do you think even a black person would even think to say, and to be like, man, y'all need us on the team because we got 20 votes. You telling me Muggs got 6 votes and we need them on the team. We got 20, but we don't get. Come on, man. Count. Let me stop. Moving on.
Well, I'm pretty sure the mayor put this together.
Shout out.
Why y'all always blame her?
Because she's got the
Here,
power.
Here's your cape. This is your official cape.
I get where I see people say that, but I also see a lot of the good that she's doing. Real talk. I do. I've been following it.
You know what? I realize that there is no leader who is totally bad.
Right.
And after being a leader, yeah, there's some things that you do real well. There's some things you do badly. And after being, part of the regular group, I've seen some crap where I'm like, man, that guy got to go.
Right.
But just because he gave you a turkey, this goes back to the thing where you give people, chicken so they vote for you. Just because you gave them a meal a day doesn't mean that they're great.
I don't think that, but I think some of the stuff I look behind the headlines and some of the stuff that I look. I do because they don't talk about it. Like even yesterday they approved that I'm an MBE WBE, right? And the one thing with the MBE WBE, which is the minority business entity for people who don't know, women business, that's where you're supposed to get either city contracts, you're supposed to get corporations that's bringing city business here. What I found with my business is that these white companies or whatever will call me because a part of their RFP, they have to put an MBE, WBE on there.
Right.
My name is on, probably submitted. I submit my certification to them. They probably get the business. I don't know, but I know they submitted my information on this bid, but then I never hear from them. So it's like, did they get that business based off my certification and I'm not getting anything, right? Because there's not transparency. But yesterday, she just signed an executive order to basically stop that, and she put Alderman David Moore and somebody over that. But it wasn't big news. But to people who are MBE and WBE, and it's going to start paying the basically small businesses when services is done, not 90 days, 100 days like the city used to do. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying she's giving away turkeys. Even with the NOF, the $250,000 that you can get for you to buy something in the Invest Southwest, is that before what it used to be is that you had to have $250,000 to get $250,000. She changed that where you have to have like 20%, but then they also do educational classes because when I got it, I basically lost so much money because when you're a first-time person trying to invest in your neighborhood, you don't know what to do. You don't know bad contractors. You don't know anything. She has basically changed that whole thing. So I'm saying I see the bad, like what you guys see, and everybody say bad, but I also have to turn around and say I've seen and been in meetings where I feel proud that she stood up for us when in past, I haven't seen that.
I'm not. I shouldn't say turkeys. I was kind of like, I was just kind of making it up. But I see what you're saying. But I guess my take, because I don't do business with the city or anything.
Right.
I look more for the bigger picture and how the west and south side is going to be affected by this. So I guess nobody's going to keep me happy, because I think unless we have a south side or a west side mayor, it ain't never going to really be good for us.
Right. Well, is that true? Because sometimes west side and south side people are on for their personal agendas.
We only had one.
Okay.
We only had one mayor. His name was Harold Washington.
And I was too young to know everything. I just looked at him as an idol.
Yeah, I get you.
In that space, right? And I'll let y'all have it. Let me. I'm always take umbrage to. I'm gonna take umbrage to the headline, right? Because quite frankly, I think I built my whole reputation on understanding what is behind the headline, and the economics of it.
Well, I think you look behind the headlines. I'm saying you do, but everyone else, you just see what's on the news. It doesn't talk about, like, what happened yesterday was only like 10 seconds. That's what I'm saying. So because I'm not saying you guys don't look beyond the headlines, but
because it impacts. So let me back up. For every $250,000 grant, right? Fish that has been distributed, we have watched white people make that a day, 5 times at a day in the city of Chicago, with just cannabis. When the mayor had an opportunity to operate and let us in, she chose not to. I think when Todd talks about the turkey, he is talking about the fact that, yes, we do get access to what is a big deal to us, but in the scope and in the grand scheme of things, we really don't. I would argue that really the mayor has utilized Neighborhood Opportunity Fund, which is what, $20 million, maybe, and those and the training programs and the Invest by South by Southwest. Not the developments, because when you look at who's really building the developments, right? Not the black company, but the dude who provides the financing for the black company. And I ain't gonna trip. I'm not gonna even put nobody on blast. But I think that I think for the average consumer and for the average person, those things work. But when you talk about the status of where black people are, nothing that we're talking about is going to be an overall lift for us. And I think what they have done is they have identified, same way I would do, the best influencers and advocates who will be spokespeople for the things that they do that are not necessarily substantive, but really fish. I have not seen the growth of, and when it comes to the talking about those vendors, you also have to look at the fact that the mayor is really, how many black vendors have been kicked out of the city during the mayor's time? How many black people have thrived in the last 3 years? And I'm gonna say, considering everything that's happened with COVID, even when she stole the Black Christmas and gave it to the white boys and then repackaged it to us.
What do you mean? What's the Black Christmas?
So Black Mall, Sister Africa, Toure Muhammad, since I've been around in media, have been doing Shop Black Friday.
Okay.
The mayor then represents it from a white agency and says Shop Black Chicago is now my program, instead of teaming up with the people who were doing it.
Right.
And the racial equity rapid response team, if you're telling me that our response to systemic racism in Chicago for the last 20 years for the last 3 years has to do with hanging up flyers on doors and your outreach, no, the mayor sicked gang members on black people in Chicago. And it's like, that's convenient. So I'm never forgetting that, ever, for no damn $250,000 grant. Not because of you, but when I think about, she paid Latino street organizations to literally patrol streets where black people were physically assaulted, beat, and harmed. And it's like, no, that still has not been addressed, ever. And we know it happened. We watched the South Side burn. We watched them protect downtown. Right now, every day, the city of Chicago pulls 10 police cars from each one of our districts in our communities where there is where violence, killing, all that stuff is happening, to protect the boarded up buildings downtown. You can't, look, you can't sell me BS. I know the prices. And I am so grateful for the places where the mayor has helped our industry, because we in sports and entertainment. She brings sports and entertainment back, right? No, really.
No.
Sports and entertainment, that's great.
Right.
But when you look at when she had the opportunities to make $3 million a day is what they made in cannabis, she could have said, y'all got to cut us in. She said, no, get out of my face, and call people stupid for it. So I love all of these wonderful grants. I do. But until I see, when the mayor had the opportunity to do, she bragging about having the first plan to rebuild the country, the first city to release a plan to rebuild the city after the pandemic. She hired George Bush's chief of staff, Sam Skinner. There's nobody else in the whole entire world but George Bush's chief of staff. No, stop it. You can't sell me BS. I know the prices. I'm just telling y'all that. Like, so I love all the fancy window dressing. But until we get to, again, who are the white developers that are coming into our city that are now, again, doing what you just got through talking about, finding a black vendor to team up with so that they can use that black vendor to build $1 million projects that again, we take the couple points on it. I ain't seen no black finance don't make me play with y'all. Don't play with me. Y'all don't play with me.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all. Y'all had them debates with the picture takers. Don't have a debate with me, because Muggs will be around here mad with their feelings hurt.
No, I get it. And my thing is, while we're looking at the bigger picture, all I'm telling you, all us black people, is that 250,000 grab, because it's not. I need me one of them 250s too. Go get that 250,000, because we're not getting a lot of black people don't know that it even exists. So it's actually, the bid is out there now for it. So if you have a great business and you want a brick and mortar, you can get 250,000.
Oh, can you plug me?
Yeah, you know.
All right, I know. No, I don't. I need to give me one of them too. Hey, yo, y'all know who I'm about to be talking to?
Who?
They listening.
Who?
I'm gonna need you some of that 250.
Okay.
I need a neighborhood opportunity grant. You think our alderman will sponsor us for What's in It for the Black People Media?
Who's your alderman here?
Alderman Dow.
I don't know her. I don't know her.
See how nice I'm being? All right, y'all.
Well, you did it with a smile.
I did. I said I was leaving Alderman Dow alone because she about to run for Secretary of State, and right now she's the only black candidate in the race. So I'm not going to, I want to give everybody a fair shot, and I really don't want to see us give up the whole joint.
Right.
It is the Maze Jackson Show. Real quick, I want to play a video for you, and then we're going to talk to Alderman Gilbert Viegas. But I am going to play this video because, I just think it's important that we see and listen to this video. I'm going to play the video, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to listen to the audio. This video is of a Michigan police officer and a stop that he made on a black black resident. Y'all ready? All right, here we go. Sonia, I'm going to hit the audio, and I just want y'all listen to this. Listen.
siren, so go ahead.
It's gone.
What happened? Where's the video?
Stop him! 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 Stay on him! Stay on him! Stay on him! Don't move! Don't move! Stop! Hey, don't you! Hey, put your hands up! Don't move! Don't move! Get over! I'm not moving. Cover that.
Police officer has a man being subdued by a dog. That man is being held down by a dog right now. Listen. Listen to the man.
Is it down Willoughby or? Stay on him! Can we get some backup down here, you guys?
See the dog in the corner. Listen to the man screaming. And listen to the police officer.
Do not move! Good boy, stay on him! Stay on him! Let's go, guys. Step it up. Well, where the hell are you at? Stay on him! Don't move! Please, sir, he's on my face. I don't care. I'm not moving, sir. I'm not moving. Got him! Please, sir, my leg is so...
Turns out his hip was broken.
Please, sir. Please, I'm begging you, sir. Please, sir. Please. Please, sir. Please.
Sounds like Anjanette Young.
Stay on him. Good boy. Sir, that's so cold, sir. Please, sir. I'm down, sir. How far out, gentlemen? I'm not moving, sir.
See how calm he is? Like Derek Chauvin with his knee on his neck.
Yes, I understand that. Right here. We still have one outstanding dog is attached, waiting to secure him. Sir, he's choking me, sir, please.
Yeah, I'm coming right now. I'm right there.
Sir, good boy, stay.
Down right now, coming.
Stay. Sir, he's choking me, sir. That is so close, sir. I don't care. Don't move! Don't move! Don't move! Yes, don't move! Let's go! Please, sir. Don't move! Please. Are you good? Don't move! Yes, sir. Roll over! Put your other hand behind your back! Yes, sir.
You see the dog? Y'all, the dog is biting and chomping him as this is happening.
My right leg is broken. All right, we got an ambulance coming. No, suspect stand still. Out! Out! Good boy. Goddamn time. Holy shit. Good boy.
Good boy.
Slow it down. We're all in custody.
In Michigan, traffic stop. Black man pulled over by the police. They sicked a German Shepherd on him. What you heard was 4 minutes of agony.
Do we know why they pulled him over?
No, we don't. So y'all, I wanted you to see that. I wanted you to see and hear that video. I wanted to spend some time on it, but we got to go to a quick break. But I thought it was important that we know what happened. That we saw that Michigan police officer was pulled this gentleman over, and I really don't care what he did. Like, I don't. Like, he was subdued. He was out of the car. I don't care if he shot somebody. He was subdued. He was out of the car. They released a dog on him.
He was the only person?
Yes. And all of those
Weren't there
cops.
2 of them?
Yeah.
Yes. But again, that was sadism. That was pure. And can I tell you what rolled through my mind, through my head right there? Was Anjanette Young.
Mm-hmm.
It really did. The only thing that was different was the dog. When those cops have no passion for those screams, you know how they think about us. And I was just thinking about, like, what do we have to do? Like, we could pass all the criminal justice reform laws. I was watching Juan's face when it was happening, and it was just watching you wince. And it's like, I was thinking about how I felt when I was watching the Anjanette Young video. And, you know, the mayor to call her that woman in a case like that, that's part of what really just cooks my grits with this, is that people have no passion for the pain of black people. When they say, like, the pain threshold, the pain, this man's hip was already broken.
Right.
You heard him say, "Sir, the dog is chomping on my face." Right? A German Shepherd. Good, and the dog was rewarded.
I said, good boy.
Kill that dog.
Right.
Kill the dog, because the white boy will cry more over that dog's life than he will over the brother that was out there.
That's true.
Look, it's the Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back.
Today we learned that a Kentucky state grand jury found that the officer responsible for killing Breonna Taylor. Rulings like this one set us back and come as yet another challenge to the hard work and progress we've already made. It means we fight even harder against the systems of inequality and injustice designed to keep us down. We will and we must continue to say her name. We will and we must continue to demand justice. And we will and we must do everything in our power to prevent any more names from being added to this roll, like George Floyd, or closer to home, Rekia Boyd, and Laquan McDonald, and too many others. I want you to know that I support you and will do everything in my power to protect you.
Regarding the CBS 2 story last night about the raid on the social worker's home, why did your administration go to court to try and prevent the body camera video from being broadcast? And why is your administration asking a federal judge to punish Miss Young for sharing video of her own home being raided?
And I watched that video.
You need to tell me what you're looking for. What are you looking for?
Now, this case was litigated in federal court. The federal judge put in place an order. There's allegations that she has violated that. A federal judge put rules in place. It's for that judge to determine whether or not that was appropriate. I'm not going to sit here and second guess a federal judge or how the information related to that matter was handled. That's for that judge who I know and is very competent and I'm sure will be fair in assessing.
Oh my God, this cannot be right. How is this legal? Because COPA has not yet made a decision in 22 months on this.
I just, look, we got to fess up and we got to clean it up.
You have the wrong place. You got the wrong house. You got the wrong house.
We will and we must continue to say her name.
Tune in to Parenting in a Pandemic, powered by the Chicagoland Mom Squad, every Thursday at noon, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the green side of things. It's your man, Sadiq.
And Cassiopeia.
And we need you to like,
comment,
and share
that thing
every Tuesday and Thursday from 1
to 3 p.m. on
What's in It for the Black People Media.
You are listening to the most dangerous show in the morning. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
For Ruthie Moore, for Todd Stroger, I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show, asking every single day, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them Maze said, Mayor Lightfoot, man, we ain't accepting that. We ain't accepting that. Let's go. Yeah.
Let's get down to business and go ahead and address the facts, man. Lightfoot seems more lesbian than black. Rahm Emanuel's another case. He was just as tired. 50 closed schools left. That Anjanette naked on that body cam. A lot of hands. Reminds me of that 16 shots in that cover up. Both of them similar, so I went and dug it up. George Floyd killed, a lot of riots happened in the town. Southside burned and they wouldn't let them bridges down. Grandmother sick, need a prescription and plus a couple groceries. You gon' have to travel just to get it now. COVID-19 now he's shutting all the business down. Not enough SBA loans to even give around. So many failed businesses that you could put them in the pile. If you don't survive the pandemic, it's gon' sit you down. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. Shout out to Willie Wilson, hope one day you get to Senate. We need some different players in the game to handle business. Too many shady characters like Madigan and Blogger. But when you really break it down, it's typical Chicago. City full of gangsters, it's what the land was built on. Same streets with hood legends DNA get spilled on. Carjackers out here lurking trying to get they steal on. Looking for a block to put them Hellcat wheels on. Let this give bogus appraisals a red line. Car crackers out here getting minimal fair time. And up to seal carry, I stay with the pipe. But Illinois gun laws giving minimal rights. Stay up on the swivel, make sure I'm moving tight. Check all of my mirrors when I pull up to the light. Pick my homie up from out of town, man, he caught a flight. He was hella nervous, told him, shorty, this a way of life. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. Miss Juan Teague is in the building. Hey, Don Hendricks, can you tell your people to get out of my video chat, please? Can you tell your people to close up the video chat because they are jamming up my place, so I can't even let my people in. Don's show come on at 10.
9.
Well, they come on at 10, 9, whatever it is, but they locking up my video chat room. Could you tell them to get out, close it out?
Maze, today is Happy Maze and Wine Day on Facebook.
Is it?
I promise you.
Is it our? Thank you.
12-year anniversary.
Really?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
You know what that means? That we've been in. That means I knew when.
We knew each other before Facebook.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna tell y'all a story. I was talking to one. I knew that there's 2 wines. There used to be 2 wines. We changed up a little bit. Wine used to be. I'm gonna stop.
Thickums.
Goodness.
Thickums.
I was like, one day I looked at a picture of other wine. I was like, you see wine in there? It's like Oprah. Did y'all see Oprah on the video?
Yeah.
I was like, Oprah looked like hold on one second. Let me do this. Y'all, can y'all do me a favor? Can y'all have a little banter? Because I'm trying to get Alderman Gilbert Viegas in here. But Juan looks like the old, I mean, not Juan. Oprah looks like the person she played in The Color Purple now. Literally. If she had gray hair, you know how when people get and their face gets kind of round, but their regular face is inside of the new face.
You know what?
And so Oprah is like that, and it kind of, if she had on some dark makeup and a crooked eye, she could be old girl again. All right, look, I'm going to get Alderman Gilbert Viegas in with us very quickly. Y'all hold on. Can y'all keep up the conversation? This is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Todd Stroger, Juan Teague, and Sonia Escobar in the building. All right, y'all, get some chat going. I'm gonna get Gil in here real quick.
All right.
So now he's letting us talk since he's busy.
Right. He's like, I'm busy.
He just let us chime in from time to time. So just gonna use us.
Oh shoot!
I don't know if I like it. Should we just be silent?
Yeah, that'll get him. I like that idea, striking back though.
Right. I like now he's busy. Then when he come back, then he want to take over the show again. I don't know I don't know how I feel about that.
He's gonna talk for 20 minutes and he say, "Hey, you guys got something to say?"
Right.
No? Okay,
right.
Let's go.
Sonia, you have anything to say? Nope.
Well, it was a good show.
So wait, should we keep?
Yes, you should keep talking. Y'all don't even know y'all. Look, do I have to fly the plane all the daggone time? Look, I gave y'all a script right here, so y'all could be talking about.
I'm gonna go to the fun stuff.
No, you can't be skipping our way because I'm saving that for you, and we trying to get Alderman Viegas. So let's talk about this $1.9 trillion since you such a COVID expert.
I am. So the 1.9 million. So here's the thing, and I think I always want to make sure, and everybody knows, I always want to make sure Black people know what's going on. Like in this 1.9 million, now 9 trillion, there's actually a relief in there for shuttered venues. So like in promoters. So like if you're a promoter that does concerts, that does parties, that normally charges at the door, or if you're a venue that normally have live events, you actually can be a part of this fund. And you actually can now get PPP. Is it PPP? Yeah.
Pack Pistol Posse. That's what Redman, PPP for Redman.
And you can get it up to $10 million. So basically, it's not looking at just your payroll and your utilities. In this bill, it's called SVOG. But if you're a promoter, if you're a venue,
if you're on a radio station, we're a venue.
Well, you have to charge tickets.
We do. We charge a ticket.
Okay. Well, you probably can be a part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's called the SVOG, and if you're in Chicago and you fall between a marketing, like a promoter or a venue, definitely inbox me on Facebook because what I would want to
inbox you.
No, I want them to be a member of NEVA. NEVA is the National Independent Venue Act, and you fill out this. Become a member. It's free to become a member, but then when you do your SVOG application, when you say you're a member of that, your process is quicker because the NEVA, which I'm a part of, they've already vetted, so you'll make sure you get your funding for it. So pretty much I've been reaching out to from Pier 31 to Sean, like Renaissance, or if you know someone that has in the state of Illinois, anywhere, if you know people that have this, they definitely want to be a part of this act because they can get money.
And you can find out all about it on the Juan Teague podcast.
I just be wanting to make sure they know because they don't know.
But just why you need a podcast.
Yeah.
Right? You put the podcast up, you put it up, and then y'all be like, you be like, just here go the link.
Yeah.
Right? I broke all this down. You ain't even got to ask me 300 times. And then you could bring in all the venue owners, right? And be like, hey, tell us how it's going to work for you.
Yeah. And then there's another act in there for rent and mortgage that's going to be given too. So.
Well, now that we're talking about this, I think I got everything worked out. So
now you see that?
Right.
Yeah, right.
Now, y'all know what I'm talking. Yeah, mute their mics. Mute their mics. Mute their mics. It is now, let me tell y'all. So we've been talking about PPP, not Pack Pistol Posse if you're an old school hip-hop fan of Redman. But the Paycheck Protection Program, we are talking about $1.9 trillion stimulus package. But man, I was thinking like, and everybody's supposed to be getting, they said $2,800 tax credit, $1,500 something. I'm not getting none of it. What's really crazy, I don't get none of that. But one of the things that is also happening is we are finding out that the stimulus check is not going to be enough to sustain people. And so here to talk to us about a new idea, which is one more reason why we need reparations, is one of my favorite aldermen in the city of Chicago. Now, y'all know my dog is on the west side, Alderman Burnett. But if there is if there was ever an alderman that was Latino that I wish we could, I don't want to say swap out, but we could just recruit to our side, it would be this guy.
The black delegation.
The black delegation nominates Gilbert Viegas as an Alderman Gilbert Viegas as an honorary member of the Alderman Viegas would be the stick. Like I'm gonna tell you, if we had Alderman Viegas negotiating, I'm gonna tell you that the reparations committee would have been right. I ain't gonna even trip. I ain't gonna even trip though. I'm gonna let it be.
You've been right if he was on the committee.
Because he would have been like, that's not our business. Y'all go ahead and handle that, but we'll be able to see y'all in about 3 weeks when we got our next initiative.
Okay.
And y'all have y'all join, but we have a plan for this. But speaking of plans, he is here to talk to us today because they're going to introduce a new plan for universal basic income, which I thought was communist, socialist. I remember, but we've heard people, I think Amaya Pawar talked about it. Salim talks about it all the time. But instead of talking about it, he's here to talk about what he's going to do about it. Family, welcome back to the Maze Jackson Show, Alderman Gilbert Viegas. Alderman Viegas, welcome back, man.
Hey, good morning, Maze. Good morning, Todd.
Good morning.
Miss Teague.
Hello.
Her name, Juan.
Juan, like the boy.
Okay, yeah, well. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. And just to, the program is guaranteed income.
Okay.
And so it's not as quote unquote communist as you think, Mace. Basically, we have to remember that there was an election that took place in Georgia, and 2 Democratic senators were elected. And as a result of that election, what you saw yesterday was the American Rescue Plan finally passed and is going to the president's desk this week. And it's $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan. And so Chicago is set to receive approximately 1.8 to 1.9 billion of that money. And so it's important that we remember why that money is being, why that American Rescue Plan has been passed. It's to help the people, right? And so the president has talked about help is on the way. So here I am talking about a Chicago Rescue Plan where this is specifically related to folks that have been impacted tremendously by the pandemic. Remember, today is 1 year that the WHO declared COVID-19 a pandemic. 1 year ago today. So it's only fitting that we have these hearings to talk about how are we going to get cash money to the people that need it the most. This money is going to recirculate back into the economy as quick as they get it. It's not like they're going to take this money and save it in some offshore account or put it in a bank account somewhere or put it in the stock market. This money's coming back in the form of rent, groceries, clothes. I mean, everyday necessities that a lot of folks take for granted. So that is why Alderman Maria Haddon, Alderman King have co-signed, and a bunch of other aldermen have already co-signed, but we need to make this unanimous. We're going to have there's a resolution to talk about it today. My hope is that we get an ordinance prepared and ready to introduce and get it passed in April, or even quicker, the mayor can partner with us and we can she can do an executive order so that way we can get money into the pockets of the people that need it most, and we can get that money spent and put into the economy.
Now, Alderman, as you start talking about this, that's not me, is it?
You echoing.
Where's the echo coming from? I think that's the Alderman. Alderman, I think it might be you playing. So you got to lower your volume just a little bit. But, Alderman, now that you're saying this, it seems to make a lot of sense. But then now it makes a lot more sense why I heard the other headline that I didn't talk about, which is the mayor saying, well, hold on. Don't make a plan to be spending that money because it's not a slush fund. Do you think that this is going to get any traction? And is the mayor's office with you on providing this income?
Yeah, I think it's going to get traction. A lot of aldermen are already in support of this initiative. And so we just got the devil's in the details. So what we need to do on our end is take a look at some of the best practices. This is not a novel idea. They've done this in Stockton, California. They've done it in LA in one district, which encompasses about 215,000 people. They've done this in Mount Vernon, New York. They've done it in Louisiana, Mississippi. And no offense, if they can do it in all these towns and small cities, there's no reason why we can't do it here in Chicago. St. Paul, Minnesota is already 5 to 7 months into a guaranteed basic income program, and they're seeing awesome results already. They get the $500 a month for a year in the form of a debit card, and people can track as to what the expenditures are being spent on. I mean, it's like I said, directly to the people that need it most. My understanding is that I haven't had a direct conversation with the mayor, but our policy people were very interested in the idea. And again, the devil's always in the details.
So, Alderman, I get to thinking about this, about what you're trying to do here, and I wonder. I'm thinking about this whole concept of giving people money. How do you think it will play out? Does it? Because I'm always concerned that when we make these type of deals, that it winds up that the money doesn't recirculate, particularly in the Black community. It becomes a wealth program for our corner stores and the like.
Well, here, we've got people that are months behind in rent. We have people that are having to make decisions as to whether or not what's going to be on the table to eat. We just got out of winter. We had a lot of aldermen had coat drives to make sure that at a minimum, some of our community had coats for this winter. So our office, the alderman's office, have turned from a city service provider into some cases social service providers. My office has given out over 100,000 masks during
Shout out to Dr. Wilson.
He gave us 20,000. He gave us 20,000. I hustled for the other 80.
Okay.
The other 80,000, and that's by talking to corporations, challenging them that, hey, in my community, we had an 18% positivity rate because my community was filled with essential workers, and so we needed to, at a bare minimum, get some PPE into these communities. So this whole myth of folks thinking that they're going to take this $500 and put it under a couch somewhere and save it for a rainy day, it's just not true. It's going to recirculate into the economy as quickly as they get it. Because here, Mays, why am I interested in a resolution or ordinance like this? Because I come from, this is personal to me. When I was 8 years old, my dad passed away when I was 8, which made my mom immediately a single mother with 2 boys. My father was a veteran in the U.S. Army. Had my mom not been told that she was eligible for Social Security, which helped provide $800 a month back then, it would have been a different story. I mean, because we were barely making it with her working, and then the $800 just made it just comfortable, just made it so that way we can have some dignity here. So this $500 a month for a whole year, the biggest barrier has always been the funding mechanism. Well, now we have a funding mechanism. We have a $1.9 billion American Rescue Plan distribution that's coming to us, and it's incumbent upon us to make sure that money gets to the people that the program was intended for.
Let me jump in right there, Alderman, because I think about the last time that we talked about this federal money coming in. We saw, I think it was almost $600 million in COVID relief funds, and we found that it went to the police department, that over 60% of it went to the police department. I gotta ask again, does the Chicago not Black Caucus, but do the aldermen really even have a say in this money? Because if the mayor doesn't want it to happen, why if the mayor does not sign on to this program, how does this happen? And I just am curious, because I always think of, as we get closer to election time, giving people, the mayor being concerned about giving others wins in this space. Because I'm starting to think you're sounding pretty mayoral. I don't want to get you in no trouble. But boy, oh boy, oh boy, some of these things you're proposing, they seem very broad and wide-reaching that don't just seem to be working for your ward, sir.
Well, here, I got 66% Latino in my ward, and as I stated, 18% positivity rate was in the 60639 area code, which is working people. So I would argue that the guaranteed income is going to benefit my community as well. So this is not just a program for the 36th ward.
He good. You see how he did that? You see that? He slid out of that real good.
This is a program for all Chicagoans that are facing, and let me just say, this primarily impacts Black and Latino mothers. This helps them out tremendously. So you talked about the last stimulus package. I would just say this, that the reason why some of the programs were not funded, because there wasn't a program. So had some council members come forward with some ideas on what needed to be funded, and put a coalition around it, I think it would have been hard to argue and hard to support an appropriation that didn't have what a lot of the council members wanted. So that's why I'm putting forward this idea, and I'm getting aldermen to sign on to this. If they don't sign on to it, fine, no problem. But the reality is that when we look at the wards that this could direct make an impact, it's the Black and brown wards. 32 members of the city council are Black and brown. So this is right off the bat. That's more than 26. So that should be enough votes to get this passed. And we're talking about $30 million. What I'm proposing, that's less than 2% of the 1.9 billion that we're going to receive, and it's allowable because of the fact that I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. St. Paul, Minnesota used some of its CARES Act money for this type of program. L.A. Councilman Price, he has a program that's put in place and is using CARES Act money. So the only restrictions that we have, I mean, there's still some rules to be made out from the Treasury, but the reality is that as long as it can't be used to shore up your budget deficits and pensions, it's very broad. It's very broad. The funding could be used a lot more broadly than the CARES Act.
Alderman, I recall during the debate for the budget that Alderman Ed Burke and Alderman Ray Lopez asked that we hold off on making the tax increase until we got the federal stimulus or the money that came from the feds. He was told kind of to stand down, and I know he's vilified in the city council. Was he right?
Well, I would say this, that looking at this stimulus package, whether it was the CARES Act money or this American Rescue Plan. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. I'm sorry.
Okay. Remember, those are one-time cash infusions for the municipalities. We have a deficit, a structured deficit, which have been decades in the making. And this is like playing, musical chairs, and we were just left without a chair. So we got to figure this out. And there's only so many revenue streams that the city has, and the levers that we can pull. I would love to see a sales tax expansion on categories. Right now, 70% of services are not taxed. I think if the General Assembly were to enact some legislation to capture some of those services, I think that would be a nice cash infusion for the city of Chicago. Also, we need to make sure that we're advocating as a city for our LGDF funds, making sure that we're not getting cut there. But these types of stimulus packages that are coming from DC, these are one-time infusions. And so we are going to have to make some decisions moving forward. I've proposed some efficiencies through technology to help save money. So I'm working on that as the chairman of Economic Capital and Technology. So I know there's a ton of money to be saved. Just as something I'm working on right now with my working group, we were able to identify $500 million of savings over 5 years, and that's without not even allowing the tech firms to look under the hood of City Hall and how we deliver services. There's huge money to be saved there through technology.
Alderman, I got a couple more questions, and then I know I got to let you go. I was just let me back up. I was just railing about today's reparations hearings. And let me say that I am looking forward to the support of the Latino caucus pushing through. Where do you feel the Black and Brown coalition, is there a permanent coalition in your estimation that exists? And I'm curious to see, how do you think that plays out in the ward remapping, especially with the population considerations?
So Alderman David Moore and myself, as freshmen, we introduced an ordinance that created the Chief Diversity Officer, first of its kind in the city of Chicago. And what prompted us to work together on that was the fact that we felt our communities were not being represented within city government as well as within the leadership of City Hall. That was during the last administration. So there is some, and then Alderman Sawyer and myself, we worked collectively as both the chairman of the Black Caucus and when I was the chairman of the Latino Caucus to put forward and push the Emmanuel administration to put an executive order for MWBE participation on privately funded projects. Initially, Rod and I had proposed 66% M and WBE participation, and the media said, "Well, are you crazy? Why are you proposing 66%?" Well, I said, well, they started at 0, so you figure we can meet somewhere in the middle. And as a result of that negotiations, we were at 30% for privately funded, meaning no subsidies from the city. Any private development has a 30% MWBE goal, as long as it comes through the city council for any type of modifications in zoning. So they have to try to meet that goal. So we've been pushing on that. So there are some parts in there that we can work together on, and I think I'm focused always on economic development. I know that a lot of times we focus on healthcare, education, in the Latino community, immigration, housing. Listen, if you have a good job, you strike that, you can afford the healthcare, you can afford the good housing, you can afford the good education. So let's focus on the things that create wealth in our communities. And so that's something that we have been working on, that I think that we can work on together. We also put together the oversight committee for the O'Hare Aviation, first of its kind, and that was under Rod and myself as well, making sure that as the project progresses on a quarterly basis, the aviation is reporting back on the $8 billion project. Obviously, it slowed down a little bit because of the pandemic. The airline industry was devastated. So we're waiting for them to begin to pick up travel again. But there are some places that we can work on together.
But my biggest question now, though, really, Alderman, really goes back to the map, right? I think I was involved and watched last time the map was negotiated, and it was a very tenuous process that was very delicately balanced. I think that we've seen a very strong push for immigrant rights and really in the census, et cetera. We've also heard the narrative of the black population declining. Typically, the fight usually comes, let's say the disagreement or the challenge comes when it's time to decide who is going to take the L. It always seems like the L is planned to take from the black people. Where do you think this map with the shifting population changes? Do the Latinos come to take black wards in your estimation, or do they go after do we create a place where those typically traditionally protected white Irish wards that have switched to Latino no longer hold their protections?
I think that, based off the American Survey information that we received, which is the preliminary information from the census, and as you know, the census is going to be delayed. We're going to start seeing some numbers at the end of March, but really you won't see the true numbers from the census until the end of September 30th. So based off the American Survey, there is some room for in additional Latino wards, and a lot has changed. As you mentioned. There have been some wards that have always been protected, but I think that given the growing population, everything's going to be on the table. I mean, for far too long, our communities have been on the menu. So I'm going to try to change that and make sure that, as it relates to the Latino community, that we want our fair share of representation. But at the same time, we need to be cognizant and make sure that I'm working with the Black Caucus to ensure that we're not doing it at the
expense,
making sure that the black community, at the expense of African and black wards. So there's going to be there's have to be some collaboration. That being said, though, the numbers are the numbers, so we can't hide from the numbers. The numbers per the state statute and per the ordinance says that every ward has to have an equal amount of representation. So we'll have to take a look at that. There may have to be some modifications, but again, it's too premature to talk about it. But I look forward to working with the Black Caucus to see what their plan is and what are they thinking about.
Let me ask just some probably your internal politics. I noticed that you moved away from being the floor leader of the mayor, appears obviously by mutual agreement, and we saw that Alderman Michelle Harris and Alderman George Cardenas were put in to replace. It took two people to do the job you was doing, that yeoman's job you were doing. But I have noticed that there is a marked difference in the Latino caucus as we knew it and as it exists now. Talk to me about the dynamics of kind of the old school Latino caucus and the Latinx caucus and the socialists that seem to be consuming the Latinx caucus as well. And how does that all play out in this marketplace? Because I don't know if it seems like the mayor pivoted back to kind of the machine sort of politics, whereas Chicago seems to be pulling out of it. Talk to me about that real quick.
Yeah. So we'll talk about like the members of the Latino caucus specifically. So we have 13 members, and 5 of them are part of the DSA. And so, as you can imagine, we have some very robust discussions, and they run the gamut. So we have some folks that are a little bit more conservative, some ones that are more centrist, and then we have our democratic socialists. And when a lot of them came in to, when they got elected, I asked them the quick question, like, well, how socialist are you going to be? Because the reality is that there's certain things that we can focus on that we want to make sure that you get a win. But here, Medicare for all, free tuition, city council doesn't do that. Now we can introduce resolutions, get them passed to satisfy your constituents, no problem. But the reality is, the aldermen deal with the day-to-day city services as well as legislation. So I think that it's been a lot of interesting discussions between my colleagues, and they have great ideas because they come from a certain very left perspective. We have some folks that are more conservative and centrist, and so a lot of times we end up seeing our end product being a hybrid of both centrist and a little bit left dealing. Now here, look, the resolution that I'm introducing today, and we're going to have hearings on, is one. Some could argue, hey, this is a very left idea, but reality is that, again, since I've faced this, this is a personal for me. I know that there's folks like me that are, regardless of whether they're left, right, this pandemic has been impacting everybody, whether you come from a red state or a blue state, whether you're black, brown, or white. This pandemic has been an equal opportunity destroyer for communities. And so we need to make sure that as we put forward ideas, that we're taking into consideration the folks that were elected to represent.
Alderman, I'm gonna call this the last one, and then I'm gonna let you off the hook. You talked about your focus on economics, and I was just informed that No Shade, good friend of the community, good friend of a lot of people, mine included, was just able to sell 2 dispensaries for $40 million each. Here in the city of Chicago, there still is 0 black ownership as it relates to cannabis, and we are talking about a casino. My question becomes, what will the city do to ensure that we are not frozen out of the gaming and the opportunity to participate? You know, it costs $250,000 to get a license to operate VGTs, and you got to have a liquor license as well. And it seems like at every turn we are locked out by the laws and the rules, even for things that happen to be the same. How do you ensure that we get to participate in the economic wealth building that will come as we continue to move towards this casino, knowing that we've been legislated out of the cannabis business in Illinois, in Chicago?
Yeah, and here I can tell you on that legislation, there is some language in there that talks about who actually approves the license, right? So the Illinois Gaming Board approves the license, but there is some power that we have as a city council, because there's a lot of land use, zoning permits that need to come through the city council. So one of the messages that has already been sent out there is making sure that the casino operators, that we're not just talking about having a 5% stake in it. We want to make sure that the minority community is represented at all levels. So we're talking about ownership, the financing, the professional services, the providers, workforce, construction, etc. So that message has already been sent out to the casino folks. And if they decide to be tone deaf on it, then I think that they would probably find some issues getting a lot of their agenda passed through the city council. Again, 32 members of the city council, 32 out of 50 are black and brown. And so we need to make sure that any type of casino, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Didn't we hear this though about cannabis, Alderman?
Well, here at Cannabis, you got to remember. Yeah, so cannabis at the city level, you got to remember that there was not a home rule exception for the city of Chicago. So a lot of that was already baked in Springfield. And this was the best deal that the legislators could get. I don't know, I was not part of those discussions, but I know once it got to City Hall, City Council, all it was, the only authority that we had was really about zoning. So that's why you see the outcome that you have, because we were exempted under home rule. And so I think that what the governor's administration is trying to do is trying to right that wrong. But I think that what you're going to see is that right now the 75 licenses that are being held up, there is some minority participation on there, very small, very minimal. But I think the next round that you're going to see is that there'll be more diversity. Remember, this is a young industry. But Maze, I get you. I get it. I'm frustrated. I'm just as frustrated as you are that this whole program that was sold as the best program for cannabis across the country came out
for
with
white
zero,
people to get rich. It was
zero participation for black and brown folks.
So Alderman, I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna tell you that that right now the gaming industry has 0 black participants. Yeah, they got the multi-millionaire people. But they have put all the barriers in place. You know, I've talked to you on numerous occasions about the Black Wealth Initiative. So I want to remind you about it. I know I owe you some documentation, but I think what we're going to do is come see you with the group because we want the opportunity to participate in this industry in our own neighborhoods. Alderman Viegas, I just want to tell you it's always a pleasure to have you. Anytime you got something cracking, you know you always got a spot to come talk to us about it right here on the Maze Jackson Show. Anything you want to touch on before you go? And I am going to tell you, man, you sounding kind of higher office. I ain't gonna put you in the firing pan because you know you say the wrong thing around certain people. They got thin skin. But I am gonna say, my man, you are sounding very diplomatic for a lot of people, and I'm gonna be keeping an eye on you.
Well, Maze, let me just say this. I've got a lot of work as the Economic Capital Technology Chairman. I'm also on 2 national boards. So a lot of my work is focused on that right now.
Great messaging, just like I talk, stay on messaging. Great candidate. Listen, I bet there's somebody back there doing sign language right now. Hey, Alderman, don't forget us. And even in that technology, you know we got some great new technology that can allow Black and Latinos to participate in some of this industry. We'll love to debut it to you. Hey, y'all, it's the Maze Jackson Show. Alderman Gilbert Viegas will be back.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
Sissy's Taco Bar Pop-Up is back with more hours and more days. Check them out at their new pop-up location at The Woodlawn, located 1200 East 79th Street. Sissy's Taco Bar offers authentic street tacos infused with international soul. Now every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at The Woodlawn from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. New vegan tacos have been added to the menu too. Visit sissytacobar.com for more info.
WIFTBPN. I think that the Black community is starting to realize the mayor may not necessarily be an ally just because she is black.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio.
Our representatives don't necessarily get a pass just because they're black. We've got a challenge in the black part of Chicago of holding black politicians accountable.
You're listening to The Maze Jackson Show.
This is Chicago, so I understand the Chicago way. I ask every day what's in it for the black people.
With Maze Jackson.
Come on, y'all.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. Juan the Geek T, Sonia Escobar, and we are sending big shouts out to Ruthie, MFing more.
Hey, Ruthie.
Everybody be like, what you do to Ruthie, Maze? Was you a jerk again? I was like, no, I was not. I really got to change this reputation.
You can't punk Ruthie.
No.
Nobody.
Ruthie, you should be here when Ruthie be punking Todd. It's so fun. It's so funny. But I think he might be shell shocked still. I'm gonna stop.
Ruthie and I are like this.
You like that?
Right, like this. I wanted to, I felt like I wanted to lighten it up a little bit, and then we got all deep and stuff. But I want to ask, what were your best memories as a child? Like, I was starting to think about, what are children today missing that we had? Right? Like, what are children today missing that we had? What sparked it was yesterday when Todd came and said him and Hans, he was going home and he was going to make him and Hans go walk around the track.
Right.
And I was thinking about making the kids go outside, like having to make kids go outside as compared to kids standing at the store scratching.
Right.
Trying to get like, I did everything. I did all my.
Can I go outside now?
Can I go outside? Can I go outside? Can I go outside? I remember getting up like when summer came and the rules in the Jackson house was you had to do everything. So my parents made me clean both the bathrooms, wash the clothes. Clean both bathrooms, the little bathroom and the big bathroom. I had to sweep up all the leaves on the front and the back. I had to wash the dishes, dry them, put them away, sweep, vacuum, make sure there was no white specks, empty all the garbage in the house, right? That was my routine. And so I remember trying to get up early. Like I tried to stay in the bed till my dad left. And then I'd pop up and be running around trying to do all my chores. And then I'd be like, I'm done at 9 o'clock. And they'd be like, you still can't go out till 10:30. I'm like, why? Because there's no outside till 10:30. And it'd be just because.
Right.
But I was thinking about, and then when you got outside, like once you got, like we lived in a court, in a cul-de-sac. And there was the time when you could play and your parents wanted to be able to see you. Then remember like when you could go out and you could ride your bike and go somewhere. I used to be on the other side of Bolingbrook. And as long as you was home before the lights was out, your parents didn't need to know where you was.
Right.
They just knew you better be home and we was getting into all type of mischief.
Right.
But I was thinking about how kids, like I miss for kids, outside for kids.
Oh no! Like my memory was literally my grandmother had her house, and I have a large family. My mom had 11 sisters, so I had 55 first cousins. So
that sound about right. That sound like the Jackson.
Yeah.
I mean the Randalls.
And so like every Sunday, because my mom was a PK kid, and so we used to always come to Big Mama's house, and that's how like that was the thing. You had to go there. You play with your cousins. And it was just a thing that you just go there. And that was like one of my best memories. That's how we got close to my cousins. There was always food. You go hit the funny stories with the adults, and then the adults say, oh, no, y'all go outside.
Get y'all right.
Y'all
right.
go outside.
We'll be ear hustling. Like
what you over there listening to? And
right.
you just go outside and play. So I think that's what I think a lot of kids miss is that going outside and then just having friends, like genuine friends in your family. Or you can't have no friends down the street.
Right. Oh, right.
Your friends is your family.
See, that's because you lived on the west side. You'd be like, because they would introduce you to the operations, sales operations.
Whatever.
But, if you live next door to an open air, let me stop. In Bolingbrook, no, but remember when your friends be like, can they come outside and play?
Yeah.
And your parents be like, no.
No. I mean, they used to come up to your door. Can Juan come outside?
Juan got work to do.
Yeah.
All right, you know what else I think kids miss? Before there was grounding, you was on punishment.
Yes.
Remember being on punishment?
Yeah.
Man.
I can't come outside for 3 days.
Did I tell y'all one time I got punished for the whole summer and they stuck to it?
The whole summer?
The whole, what you do?
I got 7 A's, 1 B, and in the comments it was, he can't control his talking. And so I hid my report card. So imagine you got 7 A's, 1 B, and you hiding your report card.
Right.
And, I don't understand why I never learned this lesson. Whenever dude asked me the question, he already knew. He was like, well, did you get your report card? No, not yet. I was trying to rationalize but no, not yet. And I remember when I was thinking like, Dad, this is going to equate to a beating. And it was like, nah, it won't be no beating. You're on punishment. But the punishment was, imagine being 15 imagine being on punishment the first time when you're supposed to be able to drive and everybody's getting their car.
Right.
So my 16th summer, I could go to work, but I could not go out. I could not watch TV.
Oh, wow.
Right? Like the only time I could watch TV was if there was family and they only watched Channel 11.
Oh, wow.
Right? There was no TV in the room, right? And it would be like people would drive by, and we lived on the expressway. So like my friends, and like they had me doing hard labor. Like I would have to, like we lived on the side of Route 53.
Right.
So no matter how many times you cleaned up the trash along the
It
gate,
was blowing over there.
not blowing over, people throwing it out.
People throwing the trash.
And I'd be out there and people be honking. Man, I couldn't use the phone. They'd be like, people would come to work to see me. And then my old man would be like, he can't have no company at work. And Mr. Weathers would be like, y'all know Maison on punishment.
Nah.
I'd be like, Dad, you done called it. But being on punishment, I remember, I think kids need to be on punishment every once in a while.
Yeah, no, I think it's good.
And it wasn't like, grounding, that's Brady Bunch.
Right.
Black kids got on punishment.
Punishment.
Todd, did you ever get on punishment?
No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know.
Or did you ever get whooped? Did your man do whoopings?
I was getting a D.
Ooh.
And
Lord. I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah, that was awful.
And your daddy was like, we paying all this daggone Saint. Where was you getting a D at?
I say it was high school chemistry.
That's fair.
Hardest class I ever had in my life.
Was hard.
Man,
Yeah.
I was getting a D in geometry because I had geometry freshman year, and I was trying to make the adjustment, and so it's like you trying to be you're a freshman, you're in a class full of sophomores, and freshman, you're in a class full of sophomores, juniors, and seniors. Mm-hmm. As a freshman, taking geometry, and like the stars of the people were all in my class, so I was trying to be cool instead of trying to do the class in geometry. That it was a slippery slope. But boy, I got that. The only thing I remember from geometry is given, and I use that all the time, right? But I remember getting the first D of my life, and I don't even think they whooped me because I almost wanted to kill myself.
Right.
Like I was just like, I'm one of them. like it was like, and it was like when I got the D, it was like, but Maison, you grew up here. You're not a transfer from the city. And it was like, oh no. I was like, no, I did not go to Collins.
But did you get a whooping? Like, did your dad whoop you 2 licks, or was it it an experience?
It must be an experience because I still remember. And the other time when I didn't wash the dishes, I was like, I'll get those in the morning.
Right.
My mother came up, and oh boy.
Were you like with your mom? Can you whoop me and not daddy? Where you want it that's
your daddy probably was too busy to whoop you too much.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
He was like, by the time he got home, he was like, I'm through whooping with these white people all damn day. You want me? You better handle them. So was your mom an effective disciplinarian?
Oh no, once we got besides her coming up and beating the hell out of me over the dishes, I can't really remember anything. When we were young, she'd do the pinch and stuff, but you get older, that stuff is like that don't really work.
That pinch always still hurt.
Hurt.
Do you think, let me ask a question. Do you think reviewing how many parents had disciplinarians? Was your parents disciplinarians?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course.
We say of course now, but now parents aren't disciplinarians.
No,
I'm a
they're
punk
not.
too. I'm a ain't a lie.
Yeah.
My kids be looking like it. I'm telling you, it's Carrie. Carrie be like, I'd be like, I'm glad. They probably more scared of Carrie than they are me.
Right.
Because she be like, what you say? I'd be like, what you say? What did you say?
Yeah, Janine, she's like, I don't want to always be the bad guy.
Right. This is me. I'm the bad guy everywhere.
Right.
I just don't want to be the bad guy at the crib.
Well, I think that's what every dad. I think the mom has always been that kind of
And then if you're
discipline, but you love you. That's always been the woman, and then the dad just come home and whatever. Did you know that he did this today and da 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 da? You in my days, okay.
Right, you handle that.
Like, okay.
What did you hate then but understand now? You know what the first thing on my list was? I know y'all gonna laugh at me. Brussels sprouts. Because y'all remember growing up and having to eat Brussels sprouts?
I still won't eat Brussels sprouts.
You got it.
But the rest of the families.
You put because they done changed it up.
Yeah.
First of all, nobody. Could you imagine tell your mama put some bacon on some Brussels sprouts?
Some bacon, some Parmesan cheese.
How many pieces of bacon was you allowed when you was growing up?
I don't know.
I don't think we had any rules on bacon.
You didn't?
No.
No. They put them 2 skinny pieces of bacon on your plate, and you be lucky if you get a third. Oh no, I used to be mad at bacon. Bacon was like to tick you off. Like that's why I used to tell people until I realized it could kill you. Like my whole joke would be eat the whole pack. Like I remember when I was old enough to be able to eat the whole pack, and I made don't play with me. I go to the store and I make a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich with the whole pack. Don't let me know Oscar Mayer too.
You know, the original House of Pancakes has a bacon plate.
Oh wow.
Where it's just all bacon.
It's a plate of bacon.
I tell you that's one of the reasons I like staying at cheap hotels, like when you're on the road, is because they got all you can eat the bacon.
Oh.
You know, like when you go to the buffet, like
I know what you mean.
no, I'm saying
Right.
if you go to like a Quality Inn or something like that, and they got that fake, they got the make your own waffle sandwich.
The fake
they got
eggs.
that right. But I tell you what, that bacon be reeled in the mud,
It do.
and it be this big old pan. And I just be like, I'll take a handful. Just be like, give me a handful. But you know what the worst is? If you ain't down there early. And the white trashy people come down.
Oh yeah.
They be dripping the syrup all over stuff. I be
disgusting.
like, ugh.
I used to work at hotels like that.
Let me tell you, you know what I used to do, but I love doing. Well, I don't stay at those too often. But like when we have family reunions, we do. But then I love being there, being like, ugh, get some manners. Where do they raise these people? Like, and I be talking all loud, and I be like, pass the Grey Poupon. What is this? All right, y'all. This has been the Maze Jackson Show. I don't know where the time went today, but it went far, far away and very fast. So, for Maze and Sonia and Juan and Todd, big shout out to our girl Ruthie Moore. I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show, asking every single day, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them. Maze said, we out of here.
Peace.
Peace.